7:30 on a Thursday night, and you're tuned in to Beltway Radio and beyond. My voice sucks, which can mean one and only thing. This is Chip Chat. Welcome to Chip Chat. I'm Chip. Who are you, Tez?
You kind of told him.
I don't know if anybody can hear me.
Told them.
Can anybody hear me? You
Kind
can hear
of.
me.
I can hear you. I'm right next to you.
Earley Bird, can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear.
There he is. See, we have
Loud.
a guest.
You can hear him loud.
That's
I don't know if
true.
you can hear him clear.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, loud and congested.
We have a guest tonight. Earley Bird is here.
A frog in your throat.
Yeah. That's
Sorry, yes, Earley
like
Bird.
I said, I'm doing my Patrick Mahomes impression. Now, next thing I'm going to do is win a Super
great
Bowl.
game, and I tried my best and threw the ball as far as I could. He's on my team. We're going on to the Super Bowl.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. I thought he was here for a second. All right, so we've got a bunch of things. Earley Bird's here because he's got new music that's out. So we're going to play some of that, and we're going to talk to him about it. The government survives another few weeks.
Shout out to Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, current Speaker Jeffries. So we're going to talk about that. Let's see. The campaigns take a swing past Africa, nude or otherwise.
Oh, Jesus.
Brian, we expect you to have lots to say about this. The Haitians strike back.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
I love the first episode. Take that, France.
See? Hating on France is fun. You always get on me for that, but hating on France is fun. Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay. Alex Jones hopes that we pay him royalties for all the times that we play his songs here. He's going to need them. And we do some sports. We're going to talk a little sports. And also, Eric Adams is... he was supposed to be our guest next week, but something tells me he's not going to make it.
Yeah, him, Bankman-Fried, or Combs. New York trilogy right there.
Good Lord.
I'm glad we just skipped over all that. We didn't have.
I don't want to touch. I don't want to touch the Diddy thing with the 20-foot pole.
Yeah,
because it would slip out of my hands.
You heard Costco released a statement?
Yes, I saw that Costco
that
statement.
They don't sell baby oil in pallets.
It's kind of crazy. Anyway,
what did Costco say?
Costco did basically that. Yeah, they basically said that. Yeah.
I would have figured he would have cut a deal with some distributor, from Johnson & Johnson or whatever.
Well,
just have
Amazon or
trucks.
something, right?
Yeah.
You can't roll up to Target and get like 5 carts.
No, he would have ordered it wholesale, I'm sure.
Especially if you're famous, you're just rolling up there like, yeah, I'm getting...
Didn't you pay attention to the giant indictment? He had people doing that for him. He had there was 50 people involved in this.
And that's a nasty man RICO. It's disgusting. That's just crazy. Like, if you're a nasty man with the RICO case. But your RICO case is not involved around, obviously.
You weren't running drugs or cigarettes or anything.
Yeah, but, primarily it was, just being fucking nasty.
You're just being a really weird, creepy guy.
Nasty dude, yo.
And it was all for himself.
Yeah.
And, everybody around him just was like, all right, I guess this is what we have to deal with to be around this guy.
Yo, I mean, anyways, I don't.
All right, I don't want to talk about it either.
My fault.
No, it's okay.
But Eric Adams, maybe we'll get a chance to mention current mayor of New York. Emphasis on current. Buddy, you're not helping. At all. There's so many things that you're not helping with right now. So that's not good. Don't do that. Treyon looks squeaky.
Compared to this
guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that fell out of the news because Eric, it's not.
Yeah.
Fox News. Oh, my God.
That's exactly.
Just don't. Okay. Anyway, so, he's not going to be here next week.
Yeah, he won't be there next week.
We do have a guest next week, though, that is pretty cool, right? Next week is the 3rd. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, Tarek Davis, formerly of the Amber Ruffin Show, and a bunch of other things. Very cool guy, writer, and comedian. He's going to be on the show. So looking forward to that. Very, very excited to talk to him. Hopefully I can talk by then.
Maybe.
So do you have a word?
Yes, I have a word.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see if this works.
Hopefully.
That was real this time.
Yeah.
Sit back, grab some
Ricola.
It's lozenge time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Swift.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's poppin', y'all?
Earley Bird's hanging out with us.
Woo!
If you heard us talking about football, it's because there is nominally a football game going on right now between two woeful teams at the bottom of the NFC East.
Yeah.
Someone's
going 1-3 tonight.
The New Jersey Giants and the Arlington Cowboys are playing. They don't like that.
says the Landover Commando.
It's Raljon.
Raljon? That's
yes.
what they're called.
Technically, that is the incorporated town that the stadium sits in.
One Madden used to say it was Hyattsville. There was one Madden that used to say that.
Who?
Would Pat Summerall would come in. Hyattsville, Maryland. Yeah, they would say that's Hyattsville.
Well, they practice in Ashburn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it might have been like Madden, maybe 01.
That's really stretching it.
It was Hyattsville, which I used to be like, Hyattsville.
I mean, Largo, maybe I'll buy.
Largo, definitely.
Yeah.
Hyattsville was interesting. I don't know. Not a PG aficionado.
I just don't like it how when people, when like TV or movies or anything that's supposed to take place in the Washington area gets it so blatantly wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, this is the minimal amount of research necessary. It's like looking at a map. Okay, speaking of maps, woo! Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
Zoom in.
Don't.
All right, don't look too close.
Okay, so North Carolina is one of the states that exist.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're happy about that, and sometimes we're not. Right now, maybe a little bit happy about it.
Yeah.
One of the things that you need to know about North Carolina is that they have this weird system where there's a governor and a lieutenant governor, and when the governor is out of the state for any reason, the lieutenant governor automatically assumes the responsibility of governor. This is a weird thing. Not a lot of states have that. The current governor of North Carolina is a guy called Roy Cooper. He's term limited, and so he's done. He was one of the potential VP picks for Vice President Harris, but he got passed over because Coach Walz.
Not Tim Walz. That's simple and blunt.
Coach Walz is
sorry.
Dynamite.
Sorry.
But the lieutenant governor in North Kakalaki is a guy called Mark Robinson. And one of the things that Roy Cooper had to worry about is, like, if he took a trip out of the state, Mark Robinson would do a bunch of shit as governor that he would have to come back and undo. Like, he would sign a bunch of executive orders.
Wow.
He would go turn off a bunch of lights on things. He would put up different flags, and then he would have to come back and, like, put all the stuff back. It's like having a...
Are they in different parties?
Yeah, Mark Robinson is a white supremacist, which is what we call the modern Republican Party. And I'm sorry, he's not a white supremacist. What's his exact quote? Black Nazi.
That's what it is. Sam.
Oh, that guy.
It's that guy. Yes, it's that guy.
Okay, so that's all like a funny thing about who Mark Robinson is, but it becomes a bigger issue because he is now running for governor of that state.
Crazy.
Against a guy called Josh Stein, who is the current attorney general of North Carolina. So they've got split government at the executive level. Mark Robinson was making a bit of a contest of this because, as we've talked about on the show, there's nothing white supremacists like better than a black man spouting their racist beliefs.
Always have.
It gives them some sort of legitimacy. Also, Donald Trump and his weird campaign that doesn't knock on doors.
I thought they were spending. Well, they don't have money. But
they spent it all. They gave it all to Charlie Kirk, who forgot to do it.
But I kept hearing that they had this ground game, and now it comes out that they didn't. They kept
never
saying
did.
This.
They. Well, we can talk about that, but let's back to Mark Robinson.
Okay.
So the Trump people and the RNC have been banking heavily on this guy because he's popular. He was popular enough, and North Carolina is not as safely Republican as it has been in previous years. And so Democrats are also counting on Mark Robinson because he's a very divisive figure and he drives a lot of people.
If you run him,
people hate him.
If you run him in the polls or run him in the elections.
By putting him up for the governor's race, it's going to drive people out to vote against him, and that probably bodes well for whoever the Democratic nominee is for president, which in this case
that was
is...
the theory with Trump the first time he got elected.
It didn't work. So, but bit of a snag.
Yeah.
So Mark Robinson, otherwise known as Mini Soldier, he's what did the kids say? He's very online.
He's very online.
He loves the interwebs.
Loves them too much.
Specifically, He loves the naked interwebs.
And the comments, it seems.
That's where we're going.
Ugh.
So the story that had broke about him a couple weeks ago was that he was visiting the nudie booths in Greensboro, where he's from, on a daily basis, sometimes many times a day, all through the 2000s.
Very stressful job.
He wasn't lieutenant governor yet.
Oh, God.
He was just
Where was he visiting one more time?
unemployed former nudie booths.
Nudie booths.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those still exist, apparently.
All right. I was like, word? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But that wasn't enough.
No.
Apparently, it was also all over Pinterest, Twitter, and importantly, Nude Africa.
Nude Africa.
Not a website I had ever heard of.
Nah, the internet is vast. I'll say that. The internet is vast.
But
I learn something new every day.
So it wasn't National Geographic?
No,
I'm Jesus Christ, Ron. You goddamn.
So I'm sure
Yo.
Brian is a bit of an expert on this, but I'm guessing by the name, although I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I'm not
Nude
typing on my
Africa
computer.
specializes in a particular kind of pornography. I don't know how to check that, but more importantly is that Mini Soldier, which is the screen name that he used on everything.
Mini Soldier.
Yeah, spelled MINISOLDR, Solder, right? Because, it's cool. It's
It
like,
is.
like Twitter, and Grindr, apparently.
What do I know?
So he used this and his actual real name, his address, and other demographic details to identify himself.
So they gave him like the form to fill out, and
And
where
he
it said
told the
optional, he just was like,
He
all
was
right.
like, yeah, Mark Robinson, occupation,
Patient.
white supremacist, address 123 Fake Street. No, like he did all the things. And he was in the comment section and I guess message boards on the Nude Africa, battling it out, as the internet is for, with people. I'm not sure who he was battling with.
What? This is very, like, it's very weird because, like, I just don't see, like, you go on to these sites, you rub one out, and then you hit your keyboard immediately to start fucking typing. That shit is so weird. That shit is very fucking weird.
I was shocked.
Sorry, I don't know.
Who's in the comment section?
What the hell?
Why are people in the comment section even on YouTube, let alone on this? Like,
well, maybe you want Mini Soldier's review of what you've just watched.
I
guess.
See what else he reviewed.
Well, apparently
No
he
post-nut clarity. I see that.
Yeah, no,
At that point of that shit, Christ.
this Mini Soldier's onto something. Let me see
Yo.
what other videos
yeah,
he
right. What else has he
People are
recommended?
threading it like, oh, smile? What's going on? People use the internet very differently than I do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's all I can say.
I use it to read the news for this show. Okay, so recent reports tied him to an old account on a porn site, Nude Africa, that described an extramarital affair, praised slavery, recommended Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf as a good read. He denied it all. Now, CNN dug all this up, and like when I say they dug it up, they didn't have to work very hard at it because he used the same screen name on everything.
ChatGPT, find me Mini Soldier.
Yeah.
Google Mini Soldier is probably the first thing that comes up.
So he held a press conference, and he's
press
like,
one does.
"We're not going to let CNN throw us off our mission," he said, and then the people all cheered.
Yeah.
Fake news, a woman shouted. Yeah. But more importantly, his entire campaign staff resigned.
Yeah, everybody left.
Everybody left.
Everybody left.
And even Trump is trying to like pretend he's never heard of the guy, despite having told everybody that he cherishes him not 10 minutes ago. It's crazy how this same kind of thing keeps happening to an nth degree amongst Republicans. They find somebody, they put them up to run for an office, they don't bother to vet them at all, and then it turns out they're insane wackadoodle creeps who do and say really fucked up shit, and then they all go, this guy, never heard of him. So much so, not that this is in this story.
We'd like to focus in on policy, the economy.
Yeah.
It's always the response.
But they can't even do that.
Yeah.
You may have noticed this week, there's a guy called Clay Higgins. He's a congressman from Louisiana, which you may know is in the Deep South.
Yes.
Clay Higgins got on Twitter, wrote something vile and hateful about Haitians, threatened them that they better get out of the country before January 20th, and a bunch of other terrible things in this tweet.
He expects a win.
Yes. Everybody looked at it and they're like, whoa, that's really bad. And all of his House colleagues went and told him, like, you need to take that down. According to MAGA Mike Johnson, he went to the back of the chamber, prayed about it, decided to take it down, took it down, and because Mike Johnson believes in redemption, he let him get away with it. Cycle 2, a few hours later, okay, the reporters get to Clay Higgins, and they ask him about the tweet. And he says, I didn't see it. I didn't see my own tweet when it went up.
That's par for the course at this point. Deny, lack of shame.
How do you not see your own tweet? He's like, I don't even have Twitter on my phone.
It doesn't matter.
Well, so I started to think up this weird scenario where he has like a staffer that he calls.
Could
Dennis, tweet this thing right now. The Haitians, I'm going to get them all on January 20th and fuck them and blah, 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 blah. You want me to read it back to you? No, just send it. And like, how could this possibly be?
No, this is like, this is
Mark Robinson. Like, this took place in less than 12-hour period.
These are between middle-aged and elderly adults using the internet.
Yeah.
And this is how they like to use the internet. This isn't anything new.
How are they not learning by now?
Because they don't want to learn.
Well, that's why they're banning all the books?
Exactly. They don't want to learn.
Mark Robinson was all, I mean, he was doing this like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's not like when the internet was brand new.
Yeah, I mean, this sinks other people's campaigns, and it should sink his. There's only one person who can avoid the shame at this level or higher.
It's Trump.
It's the only one, and that doesn't.
And they all want to be like him.
Yeah, it does, and they use that. They use that same playbook over and over again, where it's just like, all right, well, I'm double down. Yeah, every time, and they don't resign, and that's going to continue because he set that precedent. But there's only one person in America who really seems to be able to get away with that.
Well, I don't know how long he's getting away with it too, because some of this stuff is starting to like pile up on him.
Yeah, no.
I mean that's true of all liars, right? That eventually they can't remember all the things they said and they can't keep it straight. But this is a black man who loves porn and expresses some ultra conservative beliefs. So Brian, do you know this guy? Is he friend of yours? You and your Reagan beliefs and stuff?
No.
What is?
I have no connection to that.
So, but you do know people in the adult industry.
Yeah.
What is up with this comment section stuff? Are there comment sections on these videos? Who's using them?
Well,
and what are they using for?
How do people usually use the comment section?
Yeah.
All right. So pretty much, yeah.
It's a family show, goddammit.
Yeah, it is. Try to be PG as possible. So apparently, on the hub sites, there are comment sections, and usually the comment sections, they can range from, hey, I like the video, to something so crazy you kind of wonder, it's like, okay, does this person go out much?
No, they're watching porn and putting comments.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but yeah, I mean, it just depends on the person who creates the comments. So it's there, but nowadays, I think like I said, some of the comments are so crazily extreme. Pretty much either the site itself or now the owner of that page, they have the option to just shut it off. So, and because they
more moderation on porn sites than on fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy. But like, okay, I understand comments on the content itself, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, I like that thing that I just saw.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't like that thing I just saw. Right. Hey, that background is distracting, whatever.
Yeah.
But they got their socks on.
Yeah. But where does proclaiming that you're a Nazi fall into this? How do we get from
because it's the internet?
But do you think, I thought as well too, specifically on the site that this was on, right? New Africa, like almost like it, and this almost feels like giving like him a cop out, but like almost trying to get reactions out of people.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like in that specific site, like I would think that it's a bunch of people going. I don't want to generalize, but it's a bunch of people that's going there that say they hate black people, but they really love black other stuff. So, which has been happening perpetually since, slavery.
Well, you look at like some of the top topics searched in certain areas, and you look in the South, it's always interracial porn. Is always
Whatever's most taboo.
And that's what I'm wondering. Like, if he was there, like, oh, he's mini soldier, and he's out here just trying.
He's not that mini, by the way.
But he's trying to like rile people up on like a site where I would assume he'd be able to.
Was he trying to build his fan base on the nude Africa?
I mean,
maybe.
Surprise! Like you said.
Wait, are there like influencers in the comment section on porn sites?
Yeah. I mean, there are, because their thing is, and especially with a lot of, let's say, there are A-list adult stars. They pretty much do not like that because they know full well it's like their main objective, meaning the influencers, are just trying to get those people who want to see the A-list star, and you're figuring it's like coming here and say, hey, come and see my stuff, and it's like they ain't having that because it's like these people came see me, not you.
Yeah, but Mini Soldier's not watching a Jenna Jameson film and then putting in the comments, hey, if you like that, come over, click to my page.
True.
He's like Jenna Jameson film, and in the comments he's like, slavery was a pretty good idea. Like that is.
I get that, but at the
how
same
do you
time,
make
but
that leap?
again, if you are, I know full well you're not scrolling through the comments. No one has. As far as I know, no one ever does. But when you're in between, for a person who's posted a comment, and then when you see your post, and next thing you see, Mark Robinson's comment about it's like, hey, black Nazi here and blah blah blah, and I was like, what the fuck? You want to like. Either A, you're intrigued of why this guy is posting like this, or you kind of figured it's like, okay, this guy's just a straight up nut job, but let me take a look.
Unintended.
But the thing is here is it's the fact that, again, there are the strangest people who post a lot of strange shit.
But like
for him, it's way out there.
When I tweet something, right, and I get a bunch of replies, I get a notification that like I've gotten replies, and I go back and I look. So you're telling me that this guy like posts something like, I'm a black Nazi, and then a bunch of people respond to it, and he's clicking back. He's like,
Got
oh
a
yeah,
black
look
Nazi,
at
John.
right, yeah.
See, I've never seen one before.
Yeah.
See, I told you this guy agrees with us. They must all actually.
So they thought they were going to talk with Dave Chappelle, but I guess not. So.
Back in my
Clayton Bigsby, yeah.
Clayton Bigsby.
Back in my day, you didn't click on the comments. You clicked through the damn timeline to the piece of the parts you wanted to see. Back in my day.
Back in your day.
Back in my day. I don't know what's going on in porn. What the hell is happening?
Well, this was back in your day. This was 15 years ago. So
I think I even
are
quit.
You on this?
I quit a little bit
that
before
website?
that as well, too. It was becoming a problem.
So he said...
I quit maybe a few years before that. Even.
Yeah, this great quote. They want to talk about what possibly happened 15 years ago. Let's talk about right now. Yes, Mark.
Yeah,
let's talk about right now.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of elections, this is a thing that we have in this country, which is normal.
Yeah.
We have elections. I didn't
for some.
Yeah, I didn't get to introduce this segment, but it is Rundown Election Edition.
Oh man,
I didn't do it. Should we do it?
We didn't get to play
the sound effect.
Late.
Wow.
Oh, this is gonna be weird.
We'll hit the No, we'll do it.
Do it at the end.
Yeah.
It'll be just weird. This is the
Welcome to Long and Obnoxious.
The side podcast.
All right, so this one is about Arizona of all places.
Yes.
No, this one is called Not Hiding Anything.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we learned from the last cycle of crazy in the elections is that the Republicans, once again, will generate crazy ideas, often based on the idea that they can't see something. So there must be something else going on.
A whole Kerry Lake full.
Yeah. You're just passing that joke right out there?
Hey.
100%. Okay. So, like, people were saying, oh, well, we can't see in the boxes, so they've got to be sneaking in ballots. Or we can't see where the wires go, so they must be connected to the internet. Or
just not connected.
They're
not
I can't see the horizon, so how do I know it's
so
round?
The world must be flat. Yeah.
Exactly.
That throat lozenge that that lady handed to her mother looks like a thumb drive. Like, it's Okay.
They should have handed to you.
Yeah, thanks. I got one. I'm ready. All right. So in a Phoenix suburb, Florence, Arizona, Trump was super popular, right? He won by a lot. Yep.
Arizona.
In Pinal County, officials prepare for their next election, right? And they're doing it with what they're calling radical transparency. So,
Pinal County after the last segment is very funny. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a child. That's where Mark Robinson should live. Pinal County.
That's where he lives?
Pinal County.
Pinal County.
Sorry.
All right, so they spent $32 million building a new election headquarters.
Hey, all of this shit is a grift. That's a realist. What?
Yeah, the contractors are making a killing.
Yo!
Specifically, the window guys. Apparently,
of course.
they built it with it as a wall of windows so that more observers can easily watch
glass around it.
The counting process. They added more cameras inside and out and a trove of surveillance footage. They got that too.
Oh, good. Okay.
Election workers now strap GPS devices onto the cages that transport the equipment and ballots to and from the polling sites, creating a record of every movement.
Is it like the police where they can just turn the body cams off?
No, apparently not.
This is why our economy keeps booming.
Yeah,
people are building this type of shit. Yo, this is crazy. This is jobs.
Because people think that there was a school bus filled with voting equipment that was abandoned in a nearby desert. That didn't happen.
It's Burning Man?
It's funny.
What happened?
This is my favorite one. The wiring for the machine tabulators run through see-through grates instead of behind drywall so that the officials can prove that the equipment is not connected to the internet and possibly hackable, which is another false theory. Okay. Like it's wow. You do internet things.
Yes.
You know how the internet works.
Yeah.
Right?
What do we? This is
crazy. This is the cable ladders that you see in all the server rooms.
Yeah.
Where instead of just putting it in some conduit and running it, no, it's all open in cable rack.
My question is, just watched this documentary on HBO about stealing the election, and they interviewed like Bill Barr and all these Republicans who stood up and kept the election from being stolen.
Right.
But if you're going to allow people to view all of these things going on, the people who are going to be viewing them are the people who show up with the guns and the "Don't Tread on Me" flags. The Gravy Seals, up with like automatic weapons.
Right.
That's going to break into violence at some point because they're going to be looking at all this stuff.
There's kind of no nonviolent outcome to this, though, because watch this exact facility with all of this stuff.
It's still going to be the one that gets flagged.
Become the center of yet another set of dumb
30 court cases on this, yeah.
And what we've learned is that the people who have been lying about the 2020 election being stolen have learned how to do things like get jobs as precinct monitors, get jobs in polling places, volunteer as election workers, volunteer as canvassers and stuff like that, because they
figured out the counting is where
it matters. And so they say things like, well, we want to get on the inside so that we can verify and make sure that there's nothing sneaky going on. But what they mean is they want to get on the inside and gum up the works.
Yep.
So that
or change the laws.
That's Georgia.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't really matter if there's anything sneaky going on. It's having somebody who has the veneer of official capacity saying, I'm unsure. And unsure may as well be they're up to something. And that gives them license for the Gravy Seals to show up and demand a bunch of shit that they're not entitled to legally or otherwise. And when they don't get it, what are they going to do? Are these windows bulletproof? I don't know.
Put poop on the Capitol Hill walls. That's what
they did. County leaders launched an outside review of the election and cybersecurity systems to, quote, unequivocally prove the integrity of the process after a Republican county leader raised doubts about the legitimacy of the July 30th primary.
Waste.
The outcome is expected in October. This is the quote here. When you know in your soul there is nothing to hide, being open about the process is a no-brainer, said the county recorder, who is a Republican, Dana Lewis, who helps oversees the elections. Even when you pull the curtain back, there are still people who lurk in the shadows. But we are going to continue to try with logic, accuracy, and reason to combat the narrative of distrust in the election process.
It's so
good fucking luck, lady.
It's so fucking crazy because it's a slap in the face to these people who do the work.
Yes.
Because those individuals are really like, those are the true fucking patriots of this country.
We had Josh on the show.
Exactly.
Who volunteered to work at an election. You know, and he wouldn't accept the payment. They gave him a stipend.
Right.
He wouldn't take it because what he wanted to do was to participate in democracy in the most fundamental way. And most of the people who work these polls and do these elections, these are volunteers. These are your fellow citizens.
Really believe in this shit. And I wish other people in this country would believe in it the way these workers do.
But these people who are from this community, who voted for Trump, whose elected leaders, like this county recorder, all are Republicans, still they know this is $32 million they spend knowing that no matter what they do, these fucking weirdos are going to claim that there's something weird going on.
And I was listening last week to Karl Rove and Axelrod at the Atlantic Festival. And Karl Rove kept saying, he's like, well, he would bring up the challenges that John Kerry that were made. He brought up, obviously, the challenges with Gore. But Axelrod had to check him and be like, but at the same time, like, Al Gore proceeded over his own loss.
Yes.
John Kerry conceded.
Yes.
The Republican Party doesn't do that. And
no.
He really checked Karl Rove to be like, yo, like, I hear what you're saying. He was saying, where was the outrage? He even had the nerve to say that we had no outrage when Scalise got shot. And I was like, that wasn't true. Like, no, that's not the case.
We all said there's a problem with guns and we should ban them.
Yeah.
And then Steve Scalise voted for more guns.
Like, but even him, who was anti-Trumper at this point, but he even still tried to be like, oh, it kind of this false equivalence that it happens on the Democratic side, and it just doesn't.
No,
it's not true.
It's not that.
Doesn't do that. Doesn't happen here.
Having a challenge that you take to court is fine.
Cool.
If Trump wanted to take all of his stuff to court, he could.
He did.
He took all of them to court. He went 0-60. So that's the thing is Kerry took some stuff to court. He won a few. He lost a few. Gore took some stuff to court. He won a few. He lost a few. And the ones that he lost, he was like, all right, I lost.
Yeah. That's the difference.
Well, they're setting it up so that the next time it happens, they'll have people in place so they won't go 0-60.
Well, they did some of that with the judges, like Eileen Cannon is a good example, where he's placing judges in places where he's committing crimes.
We don't know if the election is going to be certified by the states in time. Really, that's a big one.
They have done everything they can to try to muddy up this process. A process that for the last 60-something years
has been
nobody's ever even flinched at. And it's been such a respected and easily trusted system.
Envy of the world.
Yeah. That we send election monitors to other countries. And now they're sending people here. Because
in a republic.
It's moving that way.
It is becoming that. But it's all on one side of this.
Yeah.
There's no Democrats who are saying we don't trust the results of an election. Even in places where things got closer than they maybe should have, and there have been surprise upsets, George Santos or whatever. And no Democratic organizations are making a case that this stuff is false. They might challenge the legality of some of it. They want to get down to the technicals, and it goes to court, and they either win or lose. But the Republican Party has, as a part of its platform, that Trump won the 2020 election. To your question about ground game. The money that they had originally, that Romney had set up for ground game in the next election, that had paid off for the Republicans in the previous two elections that she oversaw, was reallocated towards fighting Trump's legal battles to keep him out of jail and fighting the 2020 election results in 2023. Okay, that's what we're talking about. They replaced the apparatus that gets them votes with the apparatus that fights about votes from 2 election cycles ago.
And the people on that side have loyalty tests towards Trump where if they express any doubt in the election process, they're seen as disloyal or...
If they don't say that the 2020 election was stolen from Trump, they're cast out. So they have, through their own methods of what they would call purification, I'm sure, but what they call election integrity, through their focus on this, they have handicapped themselves going into the next cycle. And they have created a situation where violence is the expectation. And when we call that out and say they are preparing to threaten democracy, they are a threat to democracy. It's totally bullshit when they turn around and say, by calling them that, we're spurring violence towards Trump. We're not doing that. No violence. We don't want any violence. The Republicans are planning violence in plain sight.
Yeah.
Because they're already saying that they aren't. They asked Mike Johnson about this week. If Trump loses the election, will you vote to certify the results? And he said, well, if they're fair.
I think oddly
what the
enough,
fuck does that mean?
I think he has to say that in general, but I think oddly enough,
he
will,
knows better.
And
They
will,
all knew better.
but he will certify it. He can't. I can't.
Yeah,
say
but
forever,
even the Gosar and
yeah.
Brian's girlfriend and MTG, they all knew right away. They knew that he lost 2020.
They're not going to certify though. I think.
But no, they didn't vote for the government. But it's not that they're doing it out of that they believe this stuff.
No.
They know better and they're doing it anyway.
Yeah, of course. Power. They want to stay in power.
Speaking of which, current Speaker Jeffries. So, as you probably know, the government fiscal year ends at the end of September. We are here at the end of September, and there's no budget. So, there wasn't a budget.
There hasn't been a budget in a long time.
There hasn't been a budget in a long time. There wasn't even a CR.
Right.
So, Mike Johnson brought up a CR. We talked about it last week. They brought it up for a vote. It failed. It failed because the Republicans demanded that he include a provision. Hold on, let me check my notes here. To make it illegal for non-citizens to vote.
I think that's, if I remember.
Already illegal. Several laws about that. But MAGA Mike was like, fine, you idiots want the vote, you get the vote. It lost. So he's like, well, we need a budget. We need to keep the government open. So he did what he always does. He called up Chuck, and he's like, hey, Chuck, what will you guys pass in the Senate? Chuck's like, clean CR, extra money for the Secret Service, because, people keep shooting at Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And
we know we can't have that.
And there's a big hurricane coming, so how about some FEMA money? And Mike Johnson, who is from a hurricane state, was like, yeah, I'm good with that.
Big hurricane.
Big hurracane.
Very big. Hitting in a couple hours.
Yeah, it's very wet in terms of water. Yeah. Bigly. Also, have they tried a Sharpie? Because I hear that works.
Yeah, just turn it the other way, back into the Atlantic.
Point it right back into.
Oh, you got to do.
You can always nuke it.
Point it.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
They did. They have tried. Point it at Haiti. You're already.
Yeah.
So they cut a deal,
Yep.
right? And current Speaker Jeffries delivered his party.
As he does.
The votes came in. The Senate voted 78 to 18 with 4 not voting, including J.D. Vance was one of them. Could not be bothered to come back and vote either for or against having a government.
Yet running for... Anyways.
Yep, to be president of the Senate.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And, right? Crazy.
An institution he's barely around for. The House voted overwhelmingly, 341 for, 82 against, 9 not voting for various schedule reasons because it didn't matter. And so amongst the 82 who voted against, you want to take a guess at like some predictable names in the list?
Marjorie.
Yep.
Boebert.
Yep.
Who else we got on there? It doesn't like any.
Think 17-year-old
Jim Jordan.
girls.
No, Gates.
Oh, yeah, for sure, Jim Jordan. Yep.
Gates.
Yep.
Ted Cruz.
Well, he's on the Senate side, but he voted against, yes.
He voted against. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Even a close election.
He doesn't
in Texas,
care.
I guess that's weird, yeah.
He knows it's going to pass.
That's fair. It doesn't matter.
78 to 18.
So, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Him and Lee and those other guys. Even
who else?
Rand Paul voted for it, though.
Wow.
Yeah. He was like, whatever. Don't care. He was at his most apathetic. He was like, fuck it. I don't care. As long as my neighbor doesn't tackle me again, I'm going to vote. Yeah. So the usual suspects, Andy Biggs, all of the Andy Harris, the Eastern Shore. It's like, a who's who of people whose salaries this pays and don't want it.
Tom Cotton vote for it?
I don't know.
That's an interesting one.
He's still
Senate. Yeah,
he's still picking his brain about that. Pretty funny.
Tom Cotton.
Non-citizen voting is already illegal in federal elections, and cases of voter fraud committed by non-citizens are exceedingly uncommon.
I love that when I was listening, they said usually what most people do when they do vote, they're running to tell people, hey, I did this, please take my name off.
Yes.
Or I accidentally got registered, take it off.
I got a notification
They
that I'm
never
registered,
go
I
to
shouldn't
vote.
be voted.
As a person who was a non-citizen, I never thought to vote. Like, it's something
You knew you weren't allowed to.
I knew I wasn't, and it's just like, I've never thought to do that because, again, I'm not a citizen. And I feel like most non-citizens feel that way.
I don't go to Britain and be like, yo, give me my ballot. I used to be a British citizen.
It's kind of fundamental almost. It's like, all right, well, I'm not a citizen.
You know it's not your thing.
Yeah. Even if it's just not it.
I don't go to Maryland and try to vote in their shit.
Right.
It's like, what?
It's really weird.
14 Republicans joined with most Democrats last week to defeat the bill about non-citizen voting, leaving Johnson a choice between shuttering the government or cutting a deal.
It'll be a fun Christmas.
He called a shutdown this late in the election season political malpractice.
Yet half his quarter of his party wants to do it.
Higgins' tweet about Haitians and stuff. Political malpractice. These guys don't want to win. They just don't want to win. I hope it.
I mean, the House is done. Like, House is obviously getting flipped on there. That one's easy.
It could be that close, though.
It could be that close. I think that one's going to be easy. I
got to defend the Senate.
That is
tough.
Angela also Brooks.
Yeah.
I know all these Marylanders love them some Hogan. Angela also Brooks.
Also, this thing about the tax stuff with her, it is very clearly a paperwork error, and she actually ended up paying more.
She paid it. Yeah, she paid it. Like, I don't care.
Not only she paid more.
Yeah, all right,
By accidentally filing the wrong paperwork, she paid more in taxes.
Crazy.
So you're upset that she helped? I don't know what the problem here is. Okay, that was our rundown election edition.
I feel run down.
Yeah, I feel like that was a lot to cover.
A lot.
But don't worry.
It's okay.
There's the other 2/3 of the show left.
Fun part's coming up.
Yeah. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break and play a song from our guest.
Yes.
And when we come back, we're going to interview him about that and a few other things. We'll see what all comes up. It's all written down here in case I forget. So, all right, you're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Stand tall, some may root for me to fall. Even with my back up against the wall, stand tall. Call me crazy, win, lose, or draw. I have the wherewithal and the gall to stand tall. May not have it all upstairs or even the wind in my sails, but through it all, neither rain, snow, sleet, or hail can stall. I stand tall, I won't be derailed or fail. Even if I'm classified as being mentally ill, I face ordeals only a mere mortal feels. Sometimes it's like mortar shells are piercing my armor, or I'm heartbroken, my Sharia more. I can't hold for you the mighty hammer of Thor. I need more ammo for real. Been through hell and it feels like I'm in disrepair. Still I never kneel or fall. Spin the wheel upstairs. I may not have it all, but who cares? Through my trials and travails, I've persevered and prevail. Sometimes it's not in the cards. Dogs bark on their hind legs, they smell fear, and I've held my tears back for far too long. Stand tall, some may root for me to fall. Even with my back up against the wall, stand tall. Call me crazy, win, lose, or draw. I have the wherewithal and the gall to stand tall. May not have it all upstairs or even the wind in my sails, but through it all, neither rain, snow, sleet, or hail can stall. I stand tall. Cheers, here's a beer for every near-death experience on the ledger. My yoke is heavy, it's not a joke, but some choose to poke at the bear. We can't go on like business as usual. Rest in peace to Heath Ledger. Your performance is the Joker in The Dark Knight was incredible. I choose to fight with all my wherewithal. Don't dim your light. Death is inevitable. Faced a lot of dark nights, been broke, but I won't compare my plight or make light of what you go through. Everybody's fighting a fight, whether we know it. Our own self is the most difficult opponent to host. So when I hoist up the trophy, know I do this for everybody. Stand tall, some may root for me to fall. Even with my back up against a wall, stand tall. Call me crazy, win, lose or draw. I have the wherewithal and the gall to stand tall. May not have it all upstairs or even the wind in my sails, but through it all, neither rain, snow, sleet or hail can stall. I stand tall.
When under pressure, don't fold. When under pressure, when under pressure.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping up?
That was a track from our guest, Earley Bird.
Thank you.
So, Earley Bird, you have a new record, well, second part of a new record
Yeah, I
out.
was gonna say.
It's called Rebel Diary. We're saying it's new, even though the first part of it is already
Well,
out.
it hit the streaming services this month, so it is still
That's new.
relatively
It's still new, but like the official release date or whatever is Monday.
I broke it into two parts, so it's technically a double album on the streaming services. So the first part dropped earlier this month. The second part drops on Monday. So there's 11 tracks on the first part, 10 on the second part.
All right, and we're calling it new also, even though it's stuff that you've been working on for a very long time.
Spent about 2 years on this project. I also dropped, as you call it, the Purple Heart album, aka Hugnificent, which is a collaboration project with another composer that I worked with. I spent about 6 months working on that one. That came out about a week ago.
So we're going to get into all of that. So let's start with recently. You know, you've been doing a lot of stuff. I mean, you've been really churning out things. So you made some records using AI, or you kind of
had
made
a whole
record
episode
and,
on that.
Yeah, we did a whole thing.
It was really interesting. You recently made some records like super fast, I guess, to see if you could do it. Like we were doing like a song a day or something like that.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. You had a lot of stuff come out all at once.
I do release a lot of. For the past 5 years, it's been like every 3 weeks. I try to drop either a single or an album or something. So
It's hella consistent.
It's like for if you're signed up for the notifications on Bandcamp or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a fire hose.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a lot of emails. But Rebel Diary here, it's not that. So tell us about the concept of this record.
Well, basically, Rebel Diary is an anagram for my stage name, Earley Bird. If you rearrange the letters to Earley Bird, you can spell Rebel Diary. That's how it came up. That was inspired by MF Doom and his food.
Yes.
That's where I got the idea to do that. And I actually used an anagram generator, and then I went through like thousands of results and like dairy, all these different configurations of it.
Rebel Dairy's for the lactose folks. That's for the lactose folks.
I thought Rebel Diary sounded pretty
cheesy
cool,
joke.
but I do want to acknowledge when I use the word rebel, I'm not using it in any sort of like the South will rise again manner.
You have a whole song about that, actually.
I talk about that on the album. I got some lines about how I'm not a fan of the Confederate flag, and I don't want to be associated with that connotation of the word rebel. That's not the type of rebel that I am. I'm thinking more like blowing up the Death Star. Yeah, that type of rebel.
So, but the concept of this album is that it's supposed to be a cover-to-cover sort of an album, right? Isn't that the idea?
I spent a whole lot of time. I spent 2 years on it, so a lot of the tracks I remixed. I took the beats away. I redid them. I wasn't happy with them. I fiddled with this album a lot. And a lot of lyrics, I rewrote the lyrics. Got a bunch of guests on it, so I got some other people to contribute to it. And I just spent a lot of time trying to make what I consider something that would stand with the great albums. I don't want to put myself in that conversation, but when I hear an album like Ready to Die or Illmatic or, any of the hip-hop classics, not even hip-hop, even like Pet Sounds or Nirvana, Nevermind, just classic albums. I wanted something that I personally would feel would be included in that. And I mean, that's not my decision to make whether or not other people feel the same way, but I put that effort and that thought into hoping that it would distill into a record that I spent 2 years making with hopes that it could be held up to that standard, I guess.
So if you're sort of thinking of this as like your masterpiece.
That's what I was thinking of. And then Hugnificent came along, and that kind of like it raised the bar too. So I think these are two of my strongest projects. That's why I wanted to release them in a relatively short period of time, so people could dive into both of them and get feedback. And I think it's two of my stronger works.
But my question is, what if this is just the beginning of like a whole period of making really good music?
That's what I'm hoping. So I mean, I like all my old stuff too. I mean, I'm biased, but I'm hoping this. I would love to have a run like Stevie Wonder in the 70s or, RZA in the early 90s. I'd love to have a run like that. So I'm going to keep making music, and hopefully more comes from it.
So, we like to listen to whole albums. We're album people. I think a lot of people say they are. It's becoming more of a thing where people are willing to admit to this. But, like, if you're from the tape generation or the record generation, you kind of didn't have a choice. It was hard to, like, skip
Fast
ahead.
forward,
Fast forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes songs grow on you.
Yeah.
It might be a song you think's filler, and then, like, the 8th or 9th listen, you're like, oh, I really like this. So
What I'll often do is I'll put a CD in my car and just have that as the car CD for a while.
Okay.
And so every time I'm not listening to the radio, that's the one, and it gives me a familiarity with the deep cuts in the album and with the whole album in a way that I probably wouldn't get if I just listened to it once and put it away.
I think there's an art to sequencing too.
Yes,
like,
there you go.
The flow of the album and the direction the album's going in. I put a lot of time into what order I put every song.
Yeah, so that gets me to what I'm thinking about here is, in the streaming era where everybody's playing a song and then they're playing, the next song and the next song.
The algorithm picks it.
The algorithm picks it, even if it's amongst your own music that you like, right? Like it's disjointed. It doesn't develop that album character. Have you thought about taking one side of this or of the one record of the two records contained in it and making it all into one track so that the algorithm gives that to somebody as a whole track or that they can listen to it as a whole track?
On Hugnificent, we have a song that's over 11 minutes long. That's as close as I've gotten to. We also have a song that's about 7 minutes long on that album. So I think it works differently on that album because it's not as loop heavy. Rebel Diary is more traditional hip hop. I mean, I got loops coming in and out, but it's more traditional boom bap with loops. Whereas Hugnificent, I'm working with somebody who's playing instruments and composing, and there's swells and there's things that come in and out with the instrumentation. So I think making one, we were talking about this earlier, but making one long song, I don't know, people have the bandwidth to not click if there comes to a point in the song or if you put all the tracks into one long song, most people might not like part of it and want to fast forward. So I don't know. That does sound like, I was thinking actually the opposite. I was thinking make an album where every song is like 20 seconds and have like 200 songs on the album.
Interesting idea.
Good work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody's done something like that, but I don't know. I had to do some research to see, because I know when I register these songs through CD Baby, which I used to distribute my music, it asked, do you have any songs 10 minutes or longer?
Okay.
So I'm wondering, like, how long could an album be? How long could you make like an 80-minute? Because I think 80 minutes is what fills up a CD.
Yep.
So could you make an 80-minute long track? What would that sound like? How would you prepare it? I'd have to probably go in and think about how I would want it if I were to make it one long track. But I think it'd be more realistic to just make like 220-second tracks where every 20 seconds the beat changes and the verse changes. And
there's a They Might Be Giants album, Flood, which is like one of their best albums. It came out in 1990.
Okay.
And at the end of the album, there's like the last song, and then there's maybe it's on Apollo 18. I don't know. They have it on at least one of their records where like after the last song, there's like 6 or 7 really short tracks that are like those 30-second things. And then
I know early punk was that way too.
Yeah, and then if you
stopped doing that on albums,
yeah,
like where
the sketches and stuff.
but even like there might be silence for 2 minutes, and then the songs
secret
come
track
in.
or
Secret
something.
tracks.
Right,
They don't
so
do
that's
that
what
anymore.
happens at the end of it. If you get through all of those little snippets, then you get another great song at the end of it, and that's like, you know, the challenge. Can you listen through all this garbage? It's not garbage, but like, you know, can you listen through all these choppy things to get to this?
I like it though. You're thinking experimentally. It raises a lot of questions. So I had to revisit that. Maybe, I don't know. I think also sometimes people like things packaged a certain way. So if you get a little too avant-garde, it might be off-putting, or he's being pretentious or something. So I don't know. But it raises questions.
You performed recently, right? You were at Red Lounge.
Yeah, I have another one coming up. Same group of people. There's going to be more artists there. October 25th. So I want to plug that. It's also going to be at Red Lounge. We got Flex Matthews is going to be there. Yep. Detroit Rivers is going to be his album release party. Mental Stamina is helping putting it together. We got a couple other artists that are going to be there. So I just dropped the flyer on my Instagram. I don't know all the artists off the top of my head, but should be a good show.
What does the preparation look like for you before you perform?
Basically me listening to the songs to the point where I get sick of them, just so I get the lyrics down enough so I don't flub any of them when I'm performing. So I start about a month before the show, picking the songs, and I'm probably just going to do the same songs I did the last show for this next show. But I was going through what songs I wanted, then I was practicing, rehearsing, found out certain songs were a little too complicated to try to do live or a little tricky. So you want to pick something that you know well enough that you aren't going to be struggling to remember the lyrics. Or when you're performing, you got to pay more attention to just the performance. You got to read the room, the crowd reaction, what's going on, who's looking at you, how people are moving. You got to engage with the crowd. So I try not to make it too crazy, virtual, lyrical ability or anything. Just stick with the bread and butter with the
connecting. You want to try to connect as best as possible.
Yeah. And the last show I did is on my YouTube page. You want to watch? I did some crowd interaction, and I don't know if it's captured well in the video, but the crowd really enjoyed the crowd interaction I did. So.
Do you still get nervous when you go up there?
I don't get nervous. I mean, I don't know. That sounds like arrogant or something. No, but this is what I love to
when
do.
You do this show?
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
do I? No, not at all.
Exactly. This is what I love to do. I mean, I love being in front of and performing for people. I mean, maybe beforehand I get nervous that I'm gonna mess up the lyrics, but once
that
game time starts,
yeah.
I'm locked in. You know.
When you're rehearsing, you know, when you do the show, you have a DJ, right? You're not just.
We have a DJ for the
track.
next show. Last show was just we're hitting play, but we have a DJ for this next.
So
one.
how do you're going to practice and rehearse with the DJ?
Probably not, but I'll talk to him before the show starts. You know.
Just know where the breaks are or whatever.
And
like,
just,
you know, stop in between songs and give me 10 seconds to set up.
Something like that. Yeah.
I have like a.
I mean, I'm not doing like sold out arenas, so it's not
yet.
Thank you.
Right, I was gonna say, you know, like you to end up with.
But I mean, it's not to a point where I need to worry about that yet. But if it does, I'll pay more attention to it.
Do you find, I guess, because we always talk about like whatever the like in this area, like whatever the hip hop infrastructure looks like, is that changing? Like, I feel like specifically on U Street, a lot of like music venues got replaced with like hookah lounges and like, I assume there's still places because obviously you're performing, but like I know that's died down since it like in like the early 2000s.
I think
how it used to be.
It's a hard sell because usually the reputation that this form of music has for promoters is that, we're going to bring a crowd that might be violent, a crowd that might have weapons. So that's not the crowd I try to bring at all, but just rap music in general, especially in Northern Virginia. I've noticed that.
Interesting.
Which makes more sense with Northern Virginia,
right.
I guess. But just trying to book shows. I don't do a lot of booking of shows, but people reach out to me, hey, we want you to do a show. Then that's kind of how I do it. I don't really go out to venues and ask them. Maybe that would be helpful for me if I were to do it. But from what I've gathered from other people who do that sort of legwork, is that the reputation of a rap show as opposed to like a white guy with a guitar doing acoustic covers,
right.
It's a little more non-threatening, where they just make assumptions about rap music, whether or not they're founded or unfounded. I'm not gonna. I don't think they're founded.
It's funny that's the reputation, because
should listen to the lyrics.
I think, I think especially like nowadays, I think, honestly, I think if I hear that a place got a hip hop show, I'm like, nerds.
A little bit, right?
These are going to be a bunch of nerds. There's going to be a bunch of guys in glasses who know way too much about poetry. Like,
well, the weird thing, a lot of the shows I've been doing in this area, I go to a show and everybody in the crowd is a rapper or trying to be a rapper, or it's like you're rapping for other rappers. Yeah, so
it's the community supporting itself.
I remember I went to an Atmosphere show and I was shocked because there were like 70% women. I was like, what? They've like cracked the code. It's not like 90% other rappers like in the audience. Like, how did this happen?
It out?
Yeah, so I don't know.
So tell us, we talked a little bit about Rebel Diary, and now the Heart album, Hugnificent. What is going on with this? And tell us about
this is a USB drive, so you can buy this on my website. I'm going to explain how to open it because it's a little tricky.
A lot of people.
If I can open it here now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a puzzle.
It's basically like you pull on the chain and a USB drive comes out. We'll see if I can. There we go. We got it out. There's a USB drive. You plug it in. I got the instrumental version of the album and the version with lyrics. Basically, what happened was I was contacted last year by a gentleman named David, and he's a huge fan of my music. He really likes it. He has similar psychiatric issues that I have, and he just wrote me this really nice interaction in my DM about how much he liked my music and how good he thought it was, and he was just fawning over me. And of course, flattery is everything to an artist. So he also mentioned not only that he had psychiatric issues, but that he made music too, which led me curious to kind of look into his music. And I actually liked what I heard, which is a great thing because you never know somebody's hyping you up if you're going to like their music or not. And you don't want to let them down if you don't. But I really liked his music. And I think it pushed me in a direction that I may not have gone in if I hadn't made a decision to collaborate with him. And he was sending me like all sorts of files. I was getting like 5 or 6 a day at one point. And I would go through these files, and he plays the piano, he plays the guitar, plays other instruments, does things digitally, and he sent me these soundscapes. And basically I would add drums, a bass line. On a couple songs I had some vocal samples, but that's only on like 3 or 4 songs. And I would write lyrics and rap over them. But I think his music, and we talked a lot about our ideas of music and albums we like, things that inspired us, one of them being Brian Wilson's album Smile. Not only is there the mental health connection, but also if you listen to Hugnificent, it's very much a childlike, whimsical type of album, kind of like Smile. If you ever heard of the album Smile, it's kind of like there's an innocence to it that trying to hold on to as an adult. The name Hugnificent comes from if you've ever seen the show The Boondocks.
We love
I was thinking that
Thugnificent, yeah.
And I wanted something to do with hugging and the power of hugging and how it's good for your immune system. So I was going through words that had hug in them, and I just thought Hugnificent sounded great, and David agreed. And
really good name.
The name Safety to Self, which is the name of the group, comes from the dangerousness criteria, which if you're to be hospitalized involuntarily in the state of Virginia and in many other states, you need to be a danger to yourself or others. So we because we both have this psychiatric background, we wanted to flip it and make it Safety to Self. And if you listen to the song Serenity, that's the only song that has other rappers on it. As 2 other rappers had my friend Gravy and my friend Gary, and then I have a spoken word piece by my friend Tony. and all 4 of us are have psychiatric survivors, have been through the system. So I think that's the 7-minute long song. But basically the idea is that taking something like Danger to sell for others and flipping it, because music is a way to kind of cope with mental health and having good mental health. And most of the songs are very positive, all about positivity and hugging. And it was interesting because working with David, he's a very spiritual person. I'm a very spiritual person too. But I had some lines about drinking, and he didn't feel comfortable with those certain lines. And he made a case to me about how I should take these lines out, because I guess there's a lot of overlap with substance abuse and mental health. So, if it had been Rebel Diary, I probably would have kept him on the album. But because when you're working with a partnership, you want to honor the person you're working with. So there aren't any curse words. There aren't any nothing derogatory.
Nothing too controversial.
Yeah, it's about hugging and spreading good vibes. And there are parts of the album that may deal with difficult subjects, but the idea is to try to be your higher self and be focused and childlike and maintain your sense of wonder about the world, even when horror is going on.
So I've only heard the one song, which is what we're going to play.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So I've got my physicals of both of these. Where can everybody get stuff if they want to?
Rebel Diaries is basically out of print. I think this is the last copy right here, because I had physical copies since April, and I either sold or gave away a bunch of them. A lot of people who are on the album don't even have copies yet, but it's on the streaming sites.
I have a copy.
Oh, God.
And at some point, I might repress it if the demand is there, but it's on the streaming sites. The Heart USB, you can buy that on my website, getthatworm.com.
Such a great URL.
It's
just the best URL I've ever heard. Just really good.
It's $20, and I'll ship it to you. And if you're in the Northern Virginia area, I'll drive to you if you want one and deliver it. That's a brand strategy I learned from Ka from Brooklyn. I don't think he does it anymore, but it used to be if you ordered a album from Ka and you lived in Brooklyn, he would go to where you were and deliver it. Yeah,
cool.
So
Great marketing.
I like that. So
signed copy.
If you're, I don't have my sign.
I don't know how you're going to sign
like
that.
A heart,
Yeah, it's difficult.
Out. But I'm open for people want to inquire about my music. This is not the only stuff I've done. I got other. You can look at my back catalog. I got books. I got lyric books.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Got a lot of material. So if you want to do a deep dive, it's out there, and most of it's on all Spotify, iTunes. You can purchase it through iTunes. I don't think Spotify has an option to buy anything, but I need to put more stuff on Bandcamp. I've kind of been sleeping on that.
Yeah, do more Bandcamp.
Yeah.
All right. So with all that in mind, we're going to play one of the songs off of Hugnificent. This is the one that you sent me.
Yeah, and there's a video to it, too.
Yeah, there's a video to it, so we're going to play all that. Do you want to set this up?
Yeah, sure. This song is called Grace, and basically what happened was I wanted to make visuals for the album, but I didn't have the money to do some of the more classical music video stuff I've done in the past with, like, storyboarding and concepts and film crew and all that. So I just basically got my iPhone and just wandered around with the song playing in my headphones and just filmed myself. And I tried to make some sort of an interesting background, but I also put the lyrics on the song. And I call them vignettes. I don't really call them videos. I call them vignettes, kind of short, like diving into my everyday life. I got one where I'm washing dishes. I got a bunch I shot in the Outer Banks when I was on vacation, just wandering around the beach and the sand. And this one takes place in a park that I visited every week. So it's just me wandering around with some trees in the background. The song's called Grace.
All right. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
I give grace, cause I need grace. We pray for Peace on earth we may face real stakes, and it feels like an arms race. Give grace, cause we need grace before we meet our sealed fate. To heal properly, it takes space and time, and I feel great. Give grace, cause I need grace. Whatever makes you feel safe. Back into the tube, we can't put the toothpaste, so move post haste. I give grace, cause I made a mess. The state of the world under duress. Hive mind blind, leading the blind. So I give grace to save face. Whenever I'm publicly ashamed, I must beg for grace, something we all need. Two-face, I give grace, cause I'm not two-faced. Too real when my moods change in due time. We may make mistakes, so I give grace. I give thanks, cause I need grace. I give thanks, talent I can't waste. 4 times when I couldn't find my peace of mind, I give thanks. When I say grace before I eat or savor taste. Some people have stomach aches, but me, I've got a full plate. I give grace, cause I need grace. We pray for peace on earth we may face real stakes, and it feels like an arms race. Give grace, cause we need grace before we meet our sealed fate. To heal properly, it takes space and time, and I feel great. Give grace, cause I need grace. Whatever makes you feel safe. Back into the tube, we can't put the toothpaste, so move post haste. I give grace, cause I made a mess. The state of the world under duress. Hive mind blind, leading the blind. So I give grace to save face. Whenever I'm publicly ashamed, I must beg for grace, something we all need. Two-face, I give grace, cause I'm not two-faced. Too real when my moods change in due time. We may make mistakes, so I give grace. I give thanks, cause I need grace. I give thanks, talent I can't waste. 4 times when I couldn't find my peace of mind, I give thanks. When I say grace before I eat or savor taste. Some people have stomach aches, but me, I've got a full plate.
Welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping up?
And that was our guest, Earley Bird.
Thank you.
I really love that line about the hive mind blind leading the blind. Yeah, that's
spot on.
Yeah, definitely true. Okay, this one's more election stuff.
Obviously.
Yeah, I like this one. This one is called Defendant Couchfucker and the Spray Tan.
I wonder who that could be.
I wonder who. So, as you know, the Couchfucker and his boss, Tiny Hands, have continued to attack the Haitian community in Springfield, Ohio.
Yep.
Despite the fact that it's all bullshit and there's absolutely no truth to any of it, they keep saying it. And now, of course, like what we talked about, is once they say something that is not true and they get called on it, then it becomes part of their shtick. They have to repeat it at every stop, and they go, you know, they don't like it when I say this, but the Haitians are eating your cats.
Well, they weren't saying Haitians. They were saying, how do you pronounce it? He didn't say Haitian. He said, like, he mispronounced Haitian.
They're eating the dogs.
Yes, that guy. So there is, I can't believe I'm about to say this, something kind of interesting and good about Ohio. I know, that was big of me.
You get a bell for that.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, that was hard.
Your house stinks.
Thank you. There is a group called the Haitian Bridge Alliance. They did this thing called filing a bench memorandum and an affidavit in Clark County Municipal Court on Tuesday, which asked authorities to charge presidential candidate Tiny Hands, Donald J. Trump, and Senator Couchfucker J.D. Vance with multiple criminal offenses relating to claims that they made about the Springfield community. Now, you might think, okay, how can some advocacy group or law firm file charges? In Ohio, you can file this bench memorandum, which essentially forces the courts to either find a probable cause for the charges and issue arrest warrants,
drop it,
or they have to have a hearing on it and drop it. So they went and filed this, and basically, under Ohio law, private citizens seeking to, quote, cause an arrest or prosecution can file an affidavit with a reviewing official, which is a judge, prosecuting attorney, or magistrate, to have them review the facts and decide if a complaint should be filed. Springfield Mayor Rob Rue, fantastic name.
Rob Rue is really good.
Republican Rob Rue, said Tuesday afternoon that while the city recognizes the serious nature of the allegations, quote, it is important to allow the legal process to unfold. He said it is critical that we're sensitive to these issues like immigration and are grounded in facts. Springfield remains dedicated to fostering constructive dialogue and addressing concerns with integrity, Rue said. Springfield's priority continues to be the well-being of our residents, including the Haitian immigrant community. Any actions that disrupt public services or spread false alarms are taken seriously, and will continue to uphold our commitment to protect public order. That certainly sounds like the mayor is on board.
I mean, yes.
He's had his whole town turned upside down by this crazy bullshit.
I wish his name was spelled R-O-U-X.
Yeah, right. It'd be even better for the Haitians. Yeah. It's really funny. A city statement issued Tuesday morning echoed Rue about allowing, quote, the legal process to unfold without interference, adding that we refrain from commenting on ongoing legal matters.
Of course.
It kind of sounds like they're ready to let it go. And the magistrate could hear the case and be like, yo, charges. So we can add to Donald Trump's list of criminal charges, right? Stole the documents, put them in his bathroom, committed an insurrection against the United States.
Put them in bathrooms.
No, they didn't use the bathroom. They used the walls. Let's see. What else? It's a long list.
And then the other day, he was at a campaign stop, and somebody was
handed out
groceries.
money to everybody. Yep. Yeah, not allowed to buy election votes. Yep, definitely.
He's going to be shooting paper towels like he did the Puerto Rico day one time.
Very funny.
I love
He hasn't been charged with that one yet.
Puerto Rico.
Okay.
But anyway,
I really love
he was at
Puerto Rico.
At his height in Georgia. He's got the election interference case. So, we can just add to it, like spreading stupid rumors and causing bomb threats against people in Ohio.
He's great.
Doesn't J.D. Vance come from Ohio?
Big enough bomb threat
Wouldn't
already.
it be funny if they lost Ohio with J.D. Vance on the ticket?
I still look at, does he continue on the ticket?
Yeah, well, they can't change him out.
Yeah, he's
How are
locked
they gonna do
in
that?
by now.
Ballots
They
are
already
already
got
gone out.
yeah.
That is true.
I mean, they could do
They
it.
could, but it would be chaos.
It would be strange.
And then they would say we stole the election.
That's
even though
right.
They stole from themselves.
Yeah. But also, remember, Couchfucker's got his debate coming up next week.
He does.
Against Coach Walls.
He's going to get undressed.
Wait a minute.
I didn't do that on purpose.
No.
I didn't do that one on purpose.
Have you been on Black Africa or
Yeah,
whatever?
New Africa, Black Africa, oxymoron. Besides
Not
South
for
Africa.
Elon, yeah. Okay, so Walls is gonna absolutely eat his lunch, right?
Yeah.
J.D. Vance, despite his education, he can't string a sentence together and sound like a regular human being.
I saw him trying to order donuts.
He could not handle that. He was like, "Yeah, give me whatever the regular humans get." It was so.
Wasn't he asking for provolone and Philly?
No, he was like, "Give me some glazed and some."
But no, but when he went to Philly,
yeah.
He didn't. He was very confused about how
what's Cheese Whiz.
Yeah. You need similar to you pissing off the Michigan fans. You piss off these Philadelphia fans, and
He's just he's.
Watch for now.
Yeah. He also called himself a wonderful wife.
Yeah, he might be.
He might be.
I don't know.
No
It's okay.
there.
It's
That's
okay.
fine.
Whatever the couch and you like to do.
He also said, "Why do the 50-year-olds care so much about abortion rights?" Yo,
Yes,
they want to lose.
Yo,
what? His state voted to enshrine.
Yes,
it's very weird.
Yes, I don't know.
They want to lose. They are going to lose.
I don't understand.
They're going to lose.
I don't know. We thought that. I mean, we looked at these guys
they're
self-immolating
going
in 2016, and they won.
Yeah, but the reason why is because everybody hated Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
No, I think that's completely different here. They shouldn't have hated Hillary Clinton. You're idiots.
I don't understand why they did.
Idiots. That's why you don't want to play the fucking political game. That's why we're in the fucking mess we're in now. Idiots for anybody who didn't vote for her, but that's your choice.
Yeah,
it's your
if
choice.
you want to do the, I mean,
maybe they should be taking votes from you. Anyways,
easy.
I don't know.
Don't say that. Then they're going to clip that and cut it up into
because you fools won't go out and vote.
They're going to be like, see what the Jewish and the black guy said on the most popular radio show in the left wing.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like they're going to say we're on MSNBC. We'll take the job, but they're going to claim that we're like out here propagandizing.
I'm just it's insane. But I think it is different than 2016, and I think we're going to see. Like, there was no turnout in 2016. There will be record turnout.
Been more early votes cast in the Commonwealth than had been cast ever before.
Great, there you go. That says a lot.
So Virginia,
and we know
voting,
that turnout is what could swing
there's nobody
this.
in the middle on this.
Wow. Yeah.
So this is a turnout election. It's been a turnout election, since we talked about it. Okay, speaking of propaganda, your best friend.
Who's that? Oh, yes, I did see. Yes.
Okay, so we did cover that Alex Jones lost his lawsuits and has been ordered to pay.
He's selling all his equipment and
he has to sell everything. And
we're about to have his mic soon.
The trustee, we'll put the bid on for sure. Yeah. The trustees are going to sell everything.
Can we get his studio? I'd go down and record.
We are definitely going. Now, he told all of his, what he calls patriots, his fans, that they could buy his stuff and then employ him and have, they could buy InfoWars, right, and bid on it, and then they could employ him and then they could keep the show on. And that is a thing that could happen. But
Tell me, it sounds like a grift. It's not a grift.
Well, all the money would go to the families,
It
right?
would all go to the Sandy Hook families. That's how that's going to go. But also, we could buy a lot of Alex Jones stuff.
Don't know if that makes us any more likable, but
the website, the equipment, shopping cart, all that can be sold, and they know full well that there's a bunch of Patriot buyers.
Can I get the fake Larry King graphic?
Yeah. So, what from the Alex Jones universe do you want to buy?
Get a giant screen like behind
The
when he's
wrap
talking.
around,
Yeah, you get
we
one of
could
those.
Put that up right here.
Chip
It'd be
chat,
great.
just giant wrap around chip
having
chat.
it keep reloading itself. And pictures.
A giant globe spinning.
Yeah.
You know what I want? Turbo Force.
Yes. I want the rights to Turbo Force and the Gay Frogs.
Yeah. They're turning the courts gay.
That's what we titled the segment. But I think more importantly, we need his stash of delicious leftist ass.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's been eating that. He hasn't been making any money. He's been
people like the
his
butt.
Neighbors. Is it wrong to buy his stuff though? No, because it goes to the Sandy Hook family.
Oh no, you're right. It is wrong though, because then we're gonna platform his stuff.
I don't know about that.
Try to reprogram it.
No, I don't want to reprogram. I want to hold it
We
up
want
as
a
a trophy.
basket.
Like we defeated Alex
okay.
Jones.
What does he
and
have?
took his shit.
He has like a logo or something?
Yeah, the InfoWars, all of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we can keep interrupting him for forever. It'll be really funny.
Oh, you keep
Have him
interrupting
on the
me.
show.
Brian can't wait to play that song, I'm sure. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna buy all Alex Jones's shit. I'm sure some of it goes for like really low dollars. Because the other thing that they noted in this article is like, there's nothing that he has that will sell for enough for his families.
Hey, it was like $1 billion.
He owes
Doesn't he?
$1.5 billion.
How's
Yeah.
it gonna come?
He owes more than Fox News owes to.
Only so many
the
like
voting
snake
machine
oil
guys.
he can sell to,
Well, also he's grifting people who don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's
You
not
should make
a
him
lot
work
of
on
like
Fox News.
upper middle class lawyers who are watching InfoWars.
Oh, I need that snake oil.
He can't go work on Fox News. He cost himself $1.5 billion by sticking to this. They fired Watul Da.
Well, that's what they
because
now he's been fired from life.
Cost them, too much. Yeah. Him and Rush. They're sober together. All right, you ready for some Ukraine updates?
Oh my God, that's back.
It's back.
Yeah, because
It's Brian's favorite segment because he gets to do this.
Look at these dead ass birds.
Oh, I don't have one of those this week.
Oh, good. He gets to play
Go blue.
that one.
There we are.
Okay. So
Sorry, I just go back. That's not funny, but when that initially happened, I yelled. I
was not proud of us at that moment.
Yo, I remember that vividly.
Yeah, I remember it too because you didn't
shut
up about it.
I remember that. I remember seeing that. I said, wait, he didn't say that.
Your guy couldn't have possibly.
There's
and
no way he
you
said
mean
that.
Heisman Trophy winner, and you're like, yeah, that
It's
Heisman
like the
Trophy
beginning
winner
of the war,
It's
too.
the beginning of the war. And he didn't. We love you, Des. Please come on the show. But
Go blue.
there you go. You know you'll find a receptive audience. All right, so speaking of receptive audience.
Of course, that's good.
Zelensky came to...
I see you. I see what you're doing there.
Zelensky went to the UN. It was UNGA this week.
Oh, my God.
It's UN General Assembly.
So I get off I get off the train on Sunday. I forget the UN is there.
You forget the UN.
I forgot. I know. It was crazy. I was mad at the Arsenal loss. I was just trying to get in my hotel, but I was like, oh, let me go to FAO Schwartz.
Tied.
Yeah, and we lost. I was like, let me go to FAO Schwartz and, get a present for my daughter for her birthday before I come back. Just do that. Get it out the way early, whatever.
Smart.
So I go up there and I'm walking past, and FAO Schwartz is right there where the NBC building is. And so I'm going up, and I'm like, and I kind of see like the Secret Service is on one side.
And you're like, hey, Volodymyr, how you doing?
Not even, but I had headphones on, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to walk on the other side, but I really wasn't paying attention. And then this lovely Secret Service agent was screaming at me because I obviously had broken some type of perimeter. And I was like, bruh, exactly. That's what I was like. And I was like, and he was like, yo, my bad. I was like, and then I was like, well, how do I get to FAO Schwartz? I don't know. I'm not from here. I didn't ask that. There it is. How do I, you know what? Never mind. I'm just going to walk around the whole block.
So you went to
They've been having a rough year, though, so you got to get
That's
them.
fair.
Yeah. Those guys are really, they need a drink.
They do need a drink.
Yeah,
no, maybe not. And then I went around and asked, I was like, what's going on here? And he's like, UN. And I was like, of course.
UNGA,
yes.
Yeah. So the General Assembly was going on, and Zelensky was there, of course, and he addressed the UN. He had a meeting with Biden today. They met on the sidelines, but then he came to the White House today. They had a good sit down.
I don't think he took the train.
I don't think we got any news out of that, though. I was checking before we left, and I didn't see anything.
There's more commitment to funding.
Well, yeah, that's true. We did get that.
Yeah, he got that.
Is that Biden said he was going to get all the money that's been appropriated out the door before he is out the door. And he's like, and we're going to go ask for more, and we're going to pressure, the partners to give us more. But that's not really what Zelensky wanted to hear. What he wants to hear is give us permission to use the weapons to shoot at the Russians in Russia.
Right.
And the reason he wants this, for obvious tactical and strategic reasons, is that the Russians have long-range weapons. They're shooting at Ukraine, hitting Ukraine from inside Russia.
Yeah.
It's not like they're shooting, just from close up, right? Yep. And they want to shoot back at them.
Yeah.
And they want to take out their capability to destroy them. So, the Ukrainians need these things in defense, and the Americans and the NATO partners so far have been unwilling to allow. They're like, you can shoot a little bit into Russia, but not a lot into Russia. Because if you do that, then Putin's going to say that we're shooting into Russia. It's like, well, obviously not.
I've never seen in war where this country, for an ally, is trying to look for a soft landing.
Yeah, it's very strange because the Americans, and to a lesser extent NATO, continues to believe Putin's threats. When each time he says, if you do this, I'll consider it an act of war and nuke Warsaw, and then he doesn't do it.
And even with the change, because he went on TV either today or yesterday, and he was like, oh, well, now we're changing some of our nuclear stances, that if a country attacks within that is like tied to a nation that has nuclear weapons, he declared. But that's always been the case.
Yeah.
That's not new. That's always been the case. That's always been Russian posture, nuclear posture.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
It's all predicated on this idea that somehow the nuclear threat remains in this war, when we've seen time and time again that every
people
escalation,
scared.
Yeah, nobody wants.
Everybody's
to do that.
afraid,
and everybody does want to fight this out. The Ukrainians want to fight this out.
Yeah,
and the Russians don't have a choice; they have to fight this out. To wit, the Russians have lost 70,000 people so far in dead, not just in injured, but like 70,000 people dead. They're losing 100 and some odd people a day.
A lot of
in this
people.
war.
Fleeing?
That's
Dying?
Dying.
How many people are fleeing because they don't want to fight in the war?
A lot of people have fled the country.
Okay.
Yeah, but 100 and some odd people a day are getting killed in the war, which means that's 100 and some odd mothers and families. if you want to talk about what makes a war unsustainable in the long term, it's that if you rack up enough dead people, you've got a lot of grieving families that you got to answer to.
Or you make the war palpable to the people in that country, which is what he wants to do with these long-range missiles. What he's done with the drones.
That's what Zelensky wants to do.
Exactly.
Right.
That will also make it more real. Combine that with, I lost my son, and shit, they blew up the fucking supermarket.
Right.
Not to say he would do that, but I'm just saying, like, again.
To your point, yeah, that's right. Zelensky is taking a page out of every book, which is to say, afflict those who are attacking you.
Yeah.
If Putin continues to make life hell in Ukraine, which he is doing, if the people in Russia don't feel that same pressure, Putin's likely to continue to do this. But if the Ukrainians can turn the tables and make the people of Russia really uncomfortable,
a few sirens go off.
If they're fearing for their lives on a regular basis, at some point, even a repressive regime like Putin's can't sustain millions of angry people.
Because he wants to stay in power more than anything.
Yeah, and eventually enough of those sons might stop showing up. Or they've done it before.
Turn. Yeah, they're already doing it.
Prigozhin made a run, and it could happen again. Of the 70,000 that are dead, 20%, the largest group of them so far, were volunteers. So there are Russians who are signing up to go die in this war.
Oh wow,
that'll end soon.
The second largest group are convicts who signed up
to be in it.
They were given a choice of fight in the war and be granted your freedom, or stay in a terrible Russian prison.
Yeah,
fight.
So, they
fuck
made
these
choice.
Ukrainians.
Yeah.
Right here, exactly. Right, that's what they had. Those people are like a choice.
Heavy air quotes.
Put you in this stress position with dogs barking at you, or kill somebody.
All right, I'm gonna go kill these people.
Right.
Sorry. Or get captured.
The Ukrainians have lost 31,000 people.
That was what I was going to ask.
So it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people still.
And that's what they've admitted to. The Americans think that they might have lost more than that. Okay. But here's this other thing, and this one's actually kind of funny. You might think that, like, okay, Russia's a big superpower, right? The United States has a bunch of aircraft carriers.
Yeah.
Russia must have a bunch of aircraft carriers too, right? Actually, they have one. One.
Oh, wow.
One. The Chinese have 4. Okay.
Oh, wow. How many do we got?
10. And they're super carriers. And they have each a battle group with
all the bells and whistles.
Yeah. They're nuclear powered. They've got the best fighter planes and all the equipment.
All that Top Gun stuff.
Yeah. All of that shit, right? Okay, except without Tom Cruise. So the Russians have one aircraft carrier. It's called the Admiral Kuznetsov. It wears number 92 for the Capitals. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, Kuzi. So Vlad had a crew of 1,500 people that were on this ship. It's in dock. It doesn't go. It doesn't work. It has a lot of problems. You may notice the characteristic curved deck of the Russian carrier. You know, back in the Cold War, they had a few more of these things, but that is the classic communist carrier, because the Chinese have that too, where we have a catapult that launches our planes up into the sky. They don't. They have a curve, a ramp, essentially, and they just gun their engines full speed and hope that the ramp is enough to kind of flip them up into the air.
Commie curve.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he took the crew of 1,500 people. They sent them to the front in Ukraine. They assembled them into a land-based frigate battalion within Russia's First Guard tank army. These are sailors, by the way. Fighting that. Yeah, they're all dead. It's his stupid aircraft carrier is caught on fire twice in the last 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's currently docked in a military port north of the Arctic in Murmansk, and yeah, it doesn't work. So it's pretty good. Yeah, he's sending his people to die. The carrier, by the way, carries 28 planes, a bunch of Su-33s and MiG-29s. They're still flying MiG-29s.
MiG-29, still out there.
Yeah.
That's funny because you watch the Top Gun Maverick and they have like superior planes. The unnamed enemy has like superior planes and everything.
Korea, maybe China, maybe Russia.
And in reality, it's nothing like that.
You know, the Sukhois are pretty good.
Okay.
The Su-27s in particular were like a big leap forward. The 33s also pretty good. The problem the Russians have is they can't fuel them, and they can't fly them very well. and we can jam all their stuff. So, like, yeah, they've got this really great plane that when the Indian Air Force, which has a few of them, set up this war game where they put their best pilots in some American planes and in the Russian planes and had them, like, simulate a dogfight each other, the Russian planes did pretty well, but they're good pilots and they weren't getting jammed.
Right.
Whereas in real life, no, they don't.
And we have Miles Teller and Tom Cruise.
That's correct. We have the best pilots, the shortest pilots. These guys are both like 5'6". All right, you have a test talk?
I don't. Sorry.
Do you want to take a break? Or you want to just keep going?
Let's fight.
I have a session.
Oh, then we're going to take a break.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah, there's Vader session. We're going to take a break
Yes.
so we can play the next Vader session. Okay, we're really looking forward to this, actually. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweet.
Open the blast doors. Open the blast doors.
I'm James Earl Jones, and I played the part of
Darth Vader.
Hey, well, look at here. Yeah. All right.
What's the deal here?
There's no one on board, sir. According to the log, the crew abandoned ship right after takeoff.
Big son of a bitch.
It must be a decoy, sir. Several of the escape pods have been jettisoned.
Go the distance.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Yes, sir.
It reminds us of all that once was good. And it could be again.
Yes, sir.
Oh, baseball.
In 1924, I posed for another sculpture. It was a nude rock. It depicted me singing Deep River.
The Jedi are extinct. Their fire has gone out of the universe. You, my friend, are all that's left of their religion.
I can't tell you the secret of life, and I don't have any answers for you. I don't give interviews, and I'm no longer a public figure. I just want to be left alone. Hey, hold it, sucker. Hey, wait. Mr. Wazansky. All right. I've been extremely impressed by the way your work has improved over the course of the semester. You've learned a great deal more than I thought. You've learned what it feels like to be black. You'll get no special treatment from me. And do you hear me? No special treatment. That means you've got to work twice as hard as these little white shits, and you damn well better work twice as hard.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can
Shut up, father. That's right, Sally.
I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks. You're full of shit. Pumpkin possums, I'm sick of it. You keep interrupting me. And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why. Oh, there's energy, and oh, now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one. I know what you are now. Witches and warlocks are full of shit. Pumpkin possums, I'm sick of it. You keep interrupting me. And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why every goddamn thing out of your people's mouths doesn't come true. You said it was all over. You told us the stuff. You. Oh, God. Witches and warlocks, you're full of shit. Pumpkin possums, I'm sick of it. You keep interrupting me. And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why witches and warlocks are full of shit. Pumpkin possums, I'm sick of it. You keep interrupting me. And all of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why.
A caravan of mostly Central American immigrants is now in the Mexican city of Guadalajara.
The still of Lou Dobbs at the end is super.
The way he just sort of
The way the loose skin on his neck tightens as he says "watchful now" is insane. I will laugh at that. Yo, it doesn't matter. And
Rest in peace, James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
What about Lou Dobbs?
Yeah, right.
What
What about Lou
about
Dobbs?
What? Hold on, wait.
Where's the Lou Dobbs sessions, Brian?
Oh my God. That's it.
That's it. That's the only quotable part.
That's basically
the Lou Dobbs catalog.
Watchful now.
Remember when he was a real journalist?
He was a real journalist.
He was. Like a million years ago.
He don't.
He doesn't remember anything, Brian. He
remembers those. He remembers
That's how death works.
Before that, he was remembering these checks he was cashing.
Yeah, he was grifting. All right. Speaking of grifting, the Olympics. No, there's. Did you know shooting is in the Olympics?
Yeah. China was really good at it, and America wasn't.
And that one guy who didn't use the glasses.
That Turkish guy. Well, he's
Turkish guy. Yeah,
he's in this story here.
The guy
so
just wanted his dog back.
Yeah, that's right. He just wanted his dog.
Fucking country song.
No.
No.
Okay. The Turkish guy who is a mechanic, it's his like actual job. He
picked it up as therapy.
He picked it up as shooting
after his divorce.
After he got divorced.
As I feel that.
As
kind of scary. I feel that, but kind of scary.
Well, and then
just shoot at the range, not at her.
Good at it, and he started to talk about how that was him getting back at his ex-wife because like she made him get good at this thing that he's now like Olympic level at, and so he would go out and
we're dumb men.
He would shoot.
We're dumb.
Yes,
very dumb.
Well, it's even better. He would go and shoot his stuff, and then he would just put his gun down and like go off to the cigarette pen and just go smoke and like hang out and wait for something to happen. It looked like he was barely even trying.
He got a silver, right?
And he got a silver. Him and his partner.
And then when he won, he was just like,
he's like, all right,
I just want my ex-wife to give me my dog back.
Right, yeah.
I hope she sees me now that I won a silver.
That dog, the price for that dog went up a lot.
Trade the medal.
Like John Wick? It's like
an
origin story.
Well, it's got a gun and a dog. Okay, speaking of guns.
Until you see the ballerina.
Yeah, so South Korean pistol shooter Kim Yi-ji took home silver also at the Paris Olympics, and she won over the internet with her cool style and demeanor.
Yeah, she's the real stylish one. Yeah,
she also was like shooting with her hat backwards, which is why I turned mine backwards for the segment. And you know, she sort of looks like she doesn't look like she's not trying, but she doesn't look as crazy intense as some of these other ones. You know, she looks like she's actually enjoying what she's doing.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. So anyway, she got a movie deal, right? Brian, what's the name of the movie she's going to be in?
I don't think there's a title yet, but
okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's a title yet.
Yeah. Oh no, it's called Asia.
Okay.
Global film project called Asia. Seoul-based entertainment company Asia Lab told AFP last week. That's a French newspaper.
Not called Nude Asia?
No, not called Nude Asia.
That was gonna be the last air pistol.
Wonder what the comment section looks like on Nude Asia.
Oh, sick.
Asian women are the new things.
New things?
Brian.
New things. I'm going to straight. Not even the pun. New things. New.
Brian, I don't know if you know this, but the world has been fetishizing Asian women for a while.
Yo, it's kind of crazy.
It's a whole category. I'm sure you and Mark Robinson know all about it. I guess.
I don't think he knows, but.
No.
That's right. The big question is, could equally famous, internet famous Turkish Olympic shooter Yusuf Dikek maybe, be the perfect acting partner in crime? Would you watch a movie about air pistol shooters?
It would have to be a good movie, but I'd watch it if it was good.
If Nintendo brings out a Duck Hunt movie, yeah.
Oh, are they gonna make that?
No, look, I just look. You got excited. See, I know what.
You know,
that would be crazy.
You want to know the plot of that movie?
Get a good team behind it.
Finally, the dog gets shot. That fucking dog.
Hey,
I know we can't have that.
Easy.
You know, we don't want to wake up Keanu Reeves. But,
easy.
But
or that other lady.
Christy No. No, she'd star in it, of course.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
You know when you missed.
Yeah.
And that fucking dog jumped up and laughed at you. Yeah, you're like,
yeah.
And every once in a while, you'd still be shooting at him when the next duck's launched and you'd lose a shot.
Yeah.
Because
that shit now, oh my God, people would riot in the streets.
That you gave kids guns to shoot at a screen? They have Call of Duty.
No, shooting the dog.
Oh.
The dog.
You can't actually shoot the dog.
I know.
Also, Zelda came out where you can finally play as Zelda. That was like the big story this week.
Oh, wow. In the new Zelda game?
Years,
wow.
Yeah.
You can save Link?
Yeah, I don't know if you're saving Link or you're just sort of in an open world being Zelda, but at least you get to be the title character of the game finally.
Okay.
So, that's great.
Many people thought Zelda was Link.
Yes.
Many
a lot of people
still
called Link Zelda. Yes, because
it's kind of genius marketing.
All right. This one's about a former Heisman Trophy winner. Not Desmond Howard. This is about Reggie. Now, you may remember, right? Reggie Bush, he won a Heisman at SC. Proud member of the Big Ten. Lost to Michigan this week, just saying.
Amazing career,
Unbelievable.
College career. Amazing.
One of the best running backs in college football history.
Electrifying.
Kim K, too.
Early,
came
yes.
later, but yes, yeah. Not that much later, I guess, actually. So, Reggie.
Early on that roster.
Yeah. So before or after Ray J?
I think a little bit after.
Okay.
Slightly
after. Well, hopefully not immediately after. We all saw what that looked like. But anyway,
football players rebounding?
Ray J made a song about it. He hit it first.
Yeah.
And a video.
Yeah,
you can't have a song without the video.
It's not a music video.
Right, exactly. Well, sounds are probably made.
I think he was referencing to Kanye West, not.
Yes, of course he was. So anyway, Reggie had this, great career at SC, and then, a pretty good NFL career as well.
Won the Heisman.
He won the Heisman while he was at SC, but then
they took it, didn't they?
They took it away from him. Why did they take it away from him?
I don't remember. I just remember
it was because of his face, and he wanted to promote it and sell it and all that stuff. But unfortunately,
because he got
NIL
for looking like himself.
So he was NIL before NIL.
Yeah, and now that they have okayed NIL, right?
Reggie's
like, hey man, I should get my trophy and some money back. NCAA.
Should be the whole
they
thing,
did give him back his trophy, I think, right?
Yes, they did give him the trophy.
But he wants the money.
Yeah, they're gonna
they
sell the
stole
trophy
from him, and all of the money that he could have earned if he had been given that NIL.
Unrealized income.
During all that, yes.
Well,
that Kamala wants to steal.
How far do you pay the back pay for college athletes, though?
1,700 yards and 16 touchdowns. That's how far back.
I mean, do we go back to like the 60s college athletes?
No. It's more the point is that they took this from him.
Oh, they took it from
for
him, so
doing
to get it back.
The thing that they now are making millions of dollars off of.
It's sort of like reparations for college
it'd be
football.
as if,
and if they were doing that, wherever the TV money deals start, that's where it is.
I wonder if Pete Rose is going to find out that it's okay to bet on baseball now.
They
owe that man.
They owe him big time.
So okay to bet on baseball now?
Hell, well, not.
There's an official. What's it? Fanatic?
Talk to C.J. Abrams.
Yeah, who's?
No, I'm not saying baseball. It's not baseball. Betting, just betting.
Who's the official sports book of MLB?
DraftKings.
Is it DraftKings?
It is DraftKings. Crazy.
So make Pete Rose CEO of DraftKings.
Okay.
Or just put him in the Hall of Fame.
Put him back in the Hall of Fame, or put him in the Hall of Fame where he belongs, and give him a giant pile of money, because they stole Charlie Hustle's whole post career, and the guy didn't do anything wrong. He never bet on him, or he never bet against himself, I should say. He did bet on himself a couple of times.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Sounds fine to me.
Rules, sadly. I trust him. I try to defend Pete Rose to my dad many years ago about it. And the main thing was the fact that it's Pete Rose. He's your hit king. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And
End of story.
End of story. But since Sula Joe Jackson, sadly, is not in there, because he wasn't really involved in the Black Sox scandal anyway. But
he didn't have anything to do with it.
But still, he was part of the collective, as they say.
He was immortalized by Ray Liotta in Field of Dreams. Though.
That's right. So that's
like
about
it's
the same as being in the Hall of Fame.
Also, the numbers don't matter in baseball anymore. They don't. After the steroids era, they don't matter anymore.
Well, they do now. They put all the
when they keep telling me when they try to sell me on 62 Roger Maris versus the 70 that Bonds hit. Can't sell me on that.
Look at what Judge is doing this year.
Didn't they just integrate the leagues together?
What?
No, they play against each other now.
We play a lot of.
They updated all the leagues.
They made the National League play with the DH.
DH is in both now.
So
no, the Negro leagues and
yes, it did happen. Yeah, the stats
so
definitely.
The stats.
I was trying to avoid saying Negro with.
It's okay. That's
okay
what they were called.
When we're talking about the Negro
called.
leagues.
Yeah. Or
Also,
Phil Necro.
The country is Montenegro, just to be clear about that.
Yes,
in
it
case
is.
anyone else is not getting that one right. Yeah, I was very happy about that because it made Washington have a lot more records.
Yeah.
Right? The Grays got
it.
It's like dynamite teams, and
insane teams, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is smart. I mean, they should have done this a long time ago. I mean, specifically now, it's similar to, it's not the exact same, but if you look at like the change in the marijuana laws, right?
Right.
If you change these laws now, but then you penalize people for the same things for a country of law and order, right?
Yeah.
I'm just asking if we are. I don't know.
Look at Ted's back in the blue.
Back in the I know, right? Well, I am back in the blue. The Democrats and the prosecutor.
Yes, there you go.
But yeah, but like if you're gonna change these things now and allow this new crop of players with NIL and like the transfer portal and I mean the going rate for like a top or high prospect coming out of high school is probably $1 million for a quarterback, right? At the bare minimum. The bare minimum. Yeah, then Reggie Bush should definitely, Maurice Clarett should be also knocking on the fucking door too.
Yes, he should.
I know you don't like to say that. I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, there's a few that.
But at a human level,
there's a few folks where you're like, uh-oh.
Don't get finished.
Oh, no, but I'm just saying there's a few folks who should be able to be asking for what was stolen from them.
Of course, Brian thinks that Reggie Bush should have to give back extra Heismans.
What?
No. Okay, he's gonna. Oh, you're on the same side as
you be in the Heisman house now in the commercial.
No, I feel
right.
like
Yeah, can
Reggie
be on the
Bush,
Heisman house now.
I have no problem with Reggie going back into the Heisman house. He deserves to go back. I felt like at
call
that
Nissan and get him in those commercials because he's already great on television.
Yes, he will be back there. So, but I think in this scenario, I think for Reggie Bush to get back pay, so to speak, that I feel is like a bit much. I think just. Hear me out. I just felt like, one, getting back his Heisman records and everything else leading into now, things have so mostly changed everything. I feel getting back to Heisman should be the only thing. I think since after those, you're trying to get back, maybe 3 years worth of whatever financial, profits you got. I mean, I feel like, dude, you're well past that. I don't think
it's not that
the Big Ten TV deal that they signed in 2022 is worth nearly $8 billion.
Okay, that's the Big Ten.
Yeah,
but
he was in the Pac-12.
All right, what do you think that deal was?
They signed an Apple TV deal last year.
But even before that, but look, if we talk about in the moment, they were still getting that TV money. And who gets the TV money?
But here's
Reggie Bush creates the TV money.
Again, no, not Reggie Bush, USC.
Oh, God.
No, it is.
Matt Leinart and those guys.
Okay, honestly.
They're tuning in to see Reggie Bush.
The players.
The players in general, right?
There's a difference. See, this is where the NIL deal is gotten to the point where it's ridiculous. Now, let me add to this.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
Just recently, now, if you heard about the UNLV quarterback who was at Holy Cross, sort of supposedly signed a deal with Vegas to play a quarterback who's doing well for the first 3 weeks. And as surprised that I said, no, I'm out because he quit because of the fact you haven't paid me yet. It's gotten to that aspect where it feels like, okay, if you're going to treat college football like a prelude to the NFL, then
it's their minor league.
Yeah, why shouldn't
I know
it be?
as we visualize outside looking in, yes. But the thing is like the NCAA and college football really needs to regulate this shit to the point where it shouldn't be looking like that. Because things like this, hearing the fact is like you left a school where you're ready to graduate and okay to be at, but you come over here figuring it's like, oh, they're going to pay me $100,000 to be adding that to play for just one season. And then feel like, well, I didn't get what I get because A, you didn't sign a contract for it, and B, he feels like it's like but being used. I just feel like this is ridiculous.
But in any other industry where you've got somebody who is the one who creates the content or creates the thing that people are consuming, they can do this anywhere. right? You can leave a record label if you don't like the terms of the deal. You can quit your TV show if you think you're not being treated fairly. You can bail on a movie if you're, or you can demand more money or hold out.
What's the difference in the NBA players?
See, that right, the word you just said, hold out. That's where I think it's going to the point where I think college sports, especially college football and college basketball, really needs to think about how to reconstruct this whole NIL mess.
Well, because
the last thing you want is having college students holding out because of the fact is like they're not
their labor.
Yeah, they're just workers withholding their labor.
That's all it is. Proletariat unite.
There's an obvious solution to this, which is the solution that the major leagues, whether it's the NFL or the NBA or whatever, all have, which is a union. You have a union and a collective bargaining agreement.
How do you have unions in college?
What's the difference?
They're workers. They're not students.
Yes.
They're not students. They are workers.
Yes.
Okay. They're not students.
Okay. Keep in mind. Let me keep this in mind. I do work for 3 schools.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty much, you're basically saying not only the players are workers. You're saying the cheerleaders. You're also saying the whole band.
Yes.
You're saying everybody in there is a worker for the school.
Yes.
Okay, then pretty much it's like
how do they fund these schools?
Yes. How?
The TV money for specific.
No, you're
specifically for these football teams.
No, you're also losing the fact that forget the fact that there's those power conferences. Not every conference gets the amount of money as the Big Ten or the Pac-12 or the SEC and all that stuff. Because the schools I work in, they barely get half that stuff. And as you can tell, they based off of how they play and the people they bring in there, they barely get what they get to even compete. Look like they compete.
Then their collective bargaining agreement should reflect that.
Yeah, they should get something though.
No, again, you're trying to structure a professional ideology into a college sports where I felt like this has gone ridiculous because the NIL deal I felt is like, look, have the student, do whatever they want outside of the sport, representing the school they're in, to do whatever they want. You're not supposed to be treating them like and say, hey, let's bring this kid in. We'll pay him this amount of money. And remember, there's that whole deal in Virginia where they have to go through them first to get them in here.
Saban been doing this.
It's ridiculous because you're all the whole aspect
Barry
of it.
Switz has been doing this back in the day.
There's a difference between a coach and a player.
But I'm saying Barry Switz was
the main thing is
he
the
was
coach.
giving money too.
The main thing is the coach is supposed to represent that entire school or that entire program, not the student.
We're not talking about Division II girls lacrosse.
Sorry,
we're talking about how these are big money deals where the schools are willing to pay, or they're willing to get somebody to pay the player on their behalf because they can't pay him directly.
There's the issue. First of all,
you've got the players who are willing to make deals, sign contracts, sign letters of intent, whatever you want to call them. They're the same fucking thing. And what they're
not really.
Well, they're apparently you're signing an agreement
to give your labor to that school.
To play school.
To play school. It is to play school. That is it. You're playing school. You're playing. You're not really going house.
To play football so that UNLV in this case can get a slice of the TV money. And why shouldn't the people who actually produce the football get the money or some of the money from the TV deal? I think a collective bargaining agreement makes perfect sense in this case. If you want to say that it's limited to the power conferences or it's limited to the certain sports, that's how they should get organized. That's up to the unions to figure out and do whatever they want to do. But the fact remains that the money that is flowing in here is overwhelmingly bypassing the people who produce the content that we, the viewers, tune in to watch. I am not tuning in to watch Michigan economics.
No, it's great too.
It's great too.
Yeah, great. They do great things up there.
Yeah, that consumer confidence survey.
Yeah, it comes out. Yeah, it's great. They should get paid too.
Okay.
Hey, I'm here to pay everybody. I'm here to pay everybody, man.
But I am not
people
education to watch underwater basket weaving at a third tier college. I'm not tuning in. I am tuning in to watch big time football every Saturday without fail. And I'm watching games of conferences that I don't care about because it's on TV and I want to watch it. Why shouldn't they get paid? Why
show me the money, Jerry?
That's exactly right.
And also, too, we fought for so long for them to pay the players. But then the schools still have gotten away with not paying the players. The schools should pay the players. This NIL shit as well too. I agree with you on that. The schools should pay the players.
I have a problem with the schools squeezing the boosters to be the ones to do the pay.
But I think the boosters should pay the boosters continue to pay the school and funnel the money directly to them.
That probably makes it a little cleaner, but yeah.
Here's where I see the problem is. Schools should not try to finance players to come into their school. That makes no sense.
Business.
It's not good business.
It makes people. If you have a good program, people want to come to your school.
I'll give you the perfect example right now. Like I said, one of the schools that I've worked with, they know full well that this NIL deal, especially in this current situation, is difficult for them to even get decent players just to be, going out and recruiting them, because their main objective is, one of the questions they will ask, meaning the student athlete, quote unquote, will be asked is, how much are you going to pay me to come to your school to help you out?
Great question.
And again, it's
a
like,
lovely question.
For them, it's like, look, if you're going to structure up an NIL deal, meaning the fact is like, again, you'll be a face for the school to help represent the school. You can get that financing all on your own. You can get that money on your own. You're pretty much, the school shouldn't be doing that. School shouldn't be paying you. It's whatever sponsor you're getting this, you're representing.
In what other industry would this make
sense? But the state might.
If I'm an accountant, okay, and I go out and there's 3 accounting firms and I interview with each one of them, the first question I'm going to ask is, what are you going to pay me? Why wouldn't I ask that? And
there's nothing wrong with asking that. But the thing is here is, if your main objective as a representative of the school, knowing full well, again, this is not a Power 5 conference school. You got to remember that. Even though this whole structure is for all of college sports, it's the Power 5 conference school who has enough money to pretty much be like the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers right now.
Not fair.
Which is, again, not fair.
It's not.
So,
I'm not arguing that.
The little schools were never going to compete for these players. Is it creating a more clearly defined tiered system in college
Which is
sports?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, it is doing that. And the top talent is always going to go to Bama and Georgia and Michigan, and it's not going to go to University of St. Christie of the Red Sun.
And what's the difference between the head coaches getting paid by the state?
Yeah.
Because they're usually the highest paid state employees.
By a lot.
Are they worth more than the players?
Like I said, they are technically
they're employees.
You say they're employees, but based off through the years of college, it's like they not only be coaching a team, they're also having to teach a class somewhere. That was back in the day. Now, when they're exclusively, they used to have to teach a class. So now they're exclusively just their main focus to just coach this football team, and that's it. The highest paid
employee in almost every state
is the college football coach.
Right. Especially in Texas.
That's crazy.
Okay, but
because they are the face of that. If you fully think about it, especially in college sports, who is the main face of everyone constantly sees, besides talking about some quarterback that everyone randomly thinks he's the greatest? It's every head coach on every college football team. They are the actual face of the school.
But
to represent that school.
actual labor is not getting paid.
Technically, he is. You can say he's the manager. He's the top tier manager of it. If you're going to base it off of that,
I don't understand what the problem is with you don't think for a second that
it's
Jalen
ruined
Hurts
the pageantry.
Thought
besides that,
that's the problem.
No,
My
thing is this: I have no problem if the NIL deals is where the player themselves, the student athlete, is allowed. This is what I originally thought was allowed to go out, represent the school in their own capacity without problems. Meaning they could be a sponsor for whatever they want and get money whenever they want without any hiccups from the NCAA. That was it. When they get to the point where you have to have the school is needing to pay for these students, and then you have these crazy transfer portals because whatever deals that they were getting they didn't get, and they go to another school to get a bigger money and all that stuff. That's where I have the problem with. That's
don't like
why
free agency? You don't like free agency?
No, it's just ridiculous.
You don't like it.
Again, no, it's not just that. No, I don't mind free agency, but just for college sports, it's ridiculous. Because again, every year you're having almost 200 plus students leaving whichever sport, especially the two big ones, football and basketball, leaving after once the season's over.
You know what would fix that? Contracts and collective bargaining agreements.
No, I don't think that will fix it.
You give me a 4-year contract.
Yeah, how often does Lamar get to shake down the Ravens for more money? Should he not have asked for more money? He absolutely should have, right? Doesn't Lamar get to choose what he should get?
Whatever again, that's between him and Eric DeCosta.
Okay, but Lamar shouldn't just take whatever they give him. He should bargain for his.
He did, and it's good, and we're good.
And it's good for 4 years or 5 years or however long.
It's a 6-year deal.
Right? Okay, so that's his deal. That's his contract. Why should the next Lamar not get an opportunity to make that same bargain right now?
Okay, again, you're trying to put it into a professional aspect.
They're professional athletes.
No, they are not professional athletes.
They are.
It's supposed to be, again, we're treating it like it is.
Because
but
they are.
Really it isn't. We're training them.
What makes them not professional athletes? Did they go to a school?
Besides that.
Yeah,
but then again, if you're going to treat this like, let's say,
they don't go to class.
They do.
They go to the grass.
They do go to class. They do.
Not at Bama, not at Georgia, not at Mississippi. They're not doing. These things are professional programs. Nobody is out there throwing footballs through a tire, thinking, "I hope I make it on a football scholarship to Alabama, so I can finally get that accounting degree I've been wanting."
Nobody.
If they're good
Alabama is a funnel to the NFL. It's a minor league.
Okay, then it's those lifer football fools who constantly, that you probably see all the time, who figures like will be bouncing around from either high school to high school, now college to college, until they finally get to the pros. That again,
isn't that how it works in basketball and baseball?
Even basketball too. But again, those
you don't like it because it's ruined the game you love.
Yeah,
that's why.
It's not the game I love, because again, college football.
People love football. Not me to say you, but many people love the previous incarnation of what college football was.
If I want to be truly honest, if there was a utopian look of how I want college football, is one, I want the college playoffs to actually have just conference champions be in the damn tournament. Not this random bullshit where they create some poll and then all the same teams be going every fucking year. Two, the NIL deals, like I said before, I would rather if it was just, hey, they have the players go out, get whatever sponsorship they want on their own, and let the schools, say, if you want to come in and play for us, great. If not, fine. But as long as if you want to have your own sponsorship deals, go have it. That's it.
Don't we like school choice? Don't we like
schools should not pay for the players?
Don't we like school choice around? That was all the rage around these parts lately.
It's getting late, so
I know. We can talk about this. We can talk about this till tomorrow.
We're obviously
talk about it on No Filter Sports.
Yeah, obviously not getting anywhere on this. So
let's go to Metro.
Hold on. This whole segment, which Brian definitely proceeded very nicely, is called "Things That Make Brian Sad." which is that the what the fucks won on the road in Cincinnati.
Look good. Look good.
Brian's mad about that. The Ravens have played 3 of 4 quarters in their game against Dallas. That was not great. Sorry about that, Brian.
Referees try to screw that game.
They tried.
You succeeded.
Look, the refs. Clearly, Dallas bought the refs in the 4th quarter, but it wasn't quite enough.
Got to buy them all for.
Now, because Jerry didn't have enough money to pay the refs and Derek.
Yeah, and on to Metro. So, we know that Brian doesn't like the Metro.
No, he doesn't like the riders.
He doesn't like that people have access to the Metro.
Free access.
So what's really wild is that I didn't realize it'd been this long.
It's been a long time. That crash happened a long time ago.
But you remember when the Red Line crash happened and killed a bunch of people?
Walk over the memorial, that bridge every day.
One of the things that Metro did in reaction to that was turn off the automatic control on the trains and put that in the hands of a human being. Now, we all know that when it comes to like cars, that's safer because the sensors on cars are not good enough. But we also all know is that this makes trains miles more dangerous.
Yes.
And the ride much less pleasant.
It's jerking back and forth. Yeah, it's never pulling into the station at the right it's been
miss the
terrible
mark all the time.
Damn near
Always
20 years.
Yeah, so it's been 15 years since automatic train control had been turned off, and Metro's promised to go back to it every couple of years, and they finally are.
One crash, to be honest, in Metro's history.
Yeah,
just there hasn't been many that catastrophic to what that one was.
The other instances of failures have been that the trains jump the rails, but that's not a function of the driver or the automatic controls. So the automatic controls are obviously better. We all know that like controls are smarter and better than people. There's a reason we use autopilot on airplanes and stuff like that.
There was a control center that monitored a lot of this as well.
And it could be consistent all the time.
Yeah.
So they're going back to automatic control. What do you think about this?
I mean, that's just, again, it's a no-brainer on there. I mean, I get why they moved away from this, but to be gone for 15 years, and I mean, I think that just shows like some of the bureaucracy at Metro and just them not necessarily understanding like what caused the system to be great in the beginning.
Yeah,
and I think this
what
was
caused the failure.
And what caused the failure as well too. And like, it's just been too long. And
it's like if your dog got out of your yard because you had a hole in your fence and your solution was to pull all the shutters on your windows.
Yeah.
It's like not the same thing.
And I just think for the riders will enjoy this a lot better. I think this will, I assume, will help them like budgetary wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Much more consistent staffing.
There's going to still be train operators on the train. All we need them to do is look out the window like they used to, open the door, close the door again, let the shit run.
One of the really interesting things that stood out to me in this article was that all trains will still have their in-person operators, of course. The months-long transition is necessary, to get them back onto automatic, to train or retrain employees on an automated system that many Metro workers have never used. Because you could have been there for 10 years and never encountered automatic train control because it's been 15 years.
Which then brings a question is there any safety concerns with that we have? We'll see.
I mean, if it's taking the control away from the operator, it's only going to make it safer. It's not like they're being handed the controls after 15 years of never driving.
Just chill in the cab and just look out the window, open the door, close the door.
Your phone on.
They're not allowed to have their phones. They've got cameras watching them. There's a dead man switch on all of them. I mean, these things are super duper safe and have been. This was not the problem. The red line crash was not caused by it was caused by signal failures.
Yeah.
But a person was already there and died. The operator died because they were at the front of the train.
Yeah.
So it's not like there was them being there would have changed.
And the system was built as an automated system from the beginning.
The beginning.
It was never intended to be manual drivers. So I don't know. I'm very happy for that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to make Metro a lot better. So shout out to that. Brian hates the Metro. Okay, you hear that music? Let's see if we can hear the music. Let's see. Recognize it? This is our outro music.
Okay.
Yeah, we made it the outro. You're on every show.
On every show now.
That's what's up.
All right, so thank you to Earley Bird for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Go to getthatworm.com and go get all the records and everything that's left if you can get it. I bought a lot of it. Thanks to our radio partners. Also, shout out to the Podcast Awards.
Yeah.
So go to podcastawards.com on Monday night, coming up on the 30th, and tune in to listen. We might win. We don't know.
Might win. That would be very crazy.
If we do, there's a great video about it.
This is a great video.
All right. Thanks to our radio partners, Podcast Awards, Jimmy Kimmel and the Children's Television Workshop. Thanks to our home on the interwebs, coplaymedia.com. And thanks as always to our family. Oh, and NOTN for keeping us on for another week, maybe. Don't know. And thanks as always to our family here at Beltway Radio for making us sound as smooth as Eric Adams' first mayoral term. Okay, Earley Bird, where can everybody get you on the socials?
At Bird Boogie on Twitter and Instagram. I think that's all I got. And Nude Africa. I post on there all the time.
Viewer, commenter, or performer?
He's in all of them.
Oh, okay. You gotta
Do you
ask.
comment on your own videos?
You gotta get the engagement up, you know?
That's right.
That's fair.
All right, Tez, where can everybody get you on the
You can find me on Instagram at KetchumCorder. You can find me on that hellscape that is Twitter or X at DC Cortez. You can find me, as always, being a flaming liberal on Blue Sky at DC Cortez.
All right, you can find me and the show on the Twitter at ChipChatRR. And you can find us, of course, every Thursday night here on Beltway Radio. And you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at RipChipChat. I'm Chip, that's Tez, that's Early Bird, that's Brian being mad at stuff. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps!
These right-wing nuts can't get any better, just worse. Tez and Chip out here trying to save the republic. Like Tez on the golf course, it ain't private, just public. When we have a drink in the bar, it's not beer, it's a public. It's hard to get something to rhyme with this subject. If we get famous, we can give a shout out to Brian. To get us out on time is what he be trying. The show is like a custom feathered avian that knows words. How can we stay late when our guest is Early Bird? In conclusion, the message is to go out and serve folks, whether that's through art, music, or if you just tell jokes. We seek to medicate your ears, hope you eradicate your fears. And thanks for sticking with us through all of these years.